Great American Landowner. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 610, Hunting. Seiya and 1K chased after them, gradually closing the distance with Zhou. These guys are not vegetarians either. They grew up in space, so their bones and marrow are stronger than ordinary guys, and their explosive power and endurance are much stronger than ordinary dogs. Facts have proved that four-legged animals can run faster than two-legged people. When Zhou was tired like a dead dog, several Tibetan mastiffs and gorillas were still able to play happily. Zhou leaned against a big tree and drank the water he got from the space. He looked at them speechlessly. Fuck, this is different from the novel. Am I not destined to be the protagonist? Woof woof. Wan Xiao just barked twice. AIZ. Zhou was angry. Hurry up and find pheasants and rabbits. You run so fast. Catch a few more to bring back. Otherwise, there will be no food to eat at night, and the fruit will be reduced by half in the future. Woo woo. Several of them seemed to understand what he said and barked twice with a wronged look on their faces. It's not wrong for us to run fast because you don't have four legs. Especially Seiya. He looked at Zhou with a wronged look, but he looked at him with a bit of contempt. Am I overthinking? Zhou also felt it was ridiculous. Let's go catch chickens. He shouted and sent all these guys away. 1K had the best nose, sniffing the ground, and several animals went their separate ways. Seiya is worthy of being the real Tarzan. He lay on the tree and looked farther to see if there were any signs of small animals' activities. After a while, he climbed down. He ran to the tree where Zhou was sitting, and Zhou looked at it strangely. What are you doing? Hula hula. Kakaka. He gestured and even spoke a language that Zhou didn't understand very well. You want a telescope? Zhou understood and put his two empty palms in front of his eyes and pulled them forward and back. Finally, he made a telescope gesture like Wukong did. After repeating it twice, he finally understood it. Haha. Seiya nodded happily. This brain is quite smart. Then he took out a telescope from the space. Hey, take it and look. Seiya took it, as if he was snatching it, and even knew to hang the telescope around his neck. Then he put his hands together to make 2 feet. Of course, he usually did it with his hands together. He found a taller tree and climbed up, took out the telescope, and started to observe. What a good gorilla. He nodded complacently, very proud of his training results. Which monkey? No, which gorilla is as smart as his sire? Haha. Maybe next time I teach it to drive, this guy might be able to learn it. Zhou thought about it, and immediately a picture appeared in his mind. A gorilla driving a car. There was a cigar in his mouth and a hat on his head, and he was sitting next to him. When he was waiting for the red light on the road, another car was also waiting. Seiya rolled down the window and said hello to the girl. He caused a lot of screams. When they came to their senses, he stepped on the accelerator and started the car. He left them with a fuss and drove away without giving them a chance to call the police. They were left with surprised expressions, probably thinking that they had drunk too much or taken too many drugs. Suddenly, a roar interrupted his thoughts. In the southeast direction, Zhou recalled that it seemed to be the location of Wan Xiao. He shouted and took out a telescope in his hand and looked over there. However, the layers of shade and the disorderly crossing of tree trunks made him unable to see what was happening over there. This side was a primitive grove, not a regularly planted forest. If he didn't go over, he probably couldn't see what was happening 10 meters away. As the shouts came, 1K and 1Fu around also roared to echo their brothers. They relied on smell and sound to distinguish the meaning. When Zhou ran over, he saw 2 guys lurking around the prey. The white rabbits that Wan Xiao was chasing around were already lying in a pool of blood. The only rabbit that looked strong was still escaping. At this time, it was a little panicked. When it caught up with 1K, it smelled the smell and immediately kicked its hind legs left and right with varying strength, trying to turn and run away in another direction. The huge force and panic made it unable to master the instantaneous drift-like turn. The body rolled on the ground a few times due to the different strength, but it just happened to turn a corner. Wan Shao was much bigger than it and did not have the rabbit's ability to make a sharp turn. Although it wanted to make a sharp turn in its heart, its body could not stop. It needed to slow down first to turn. It slid for a distance before turning. But the speed of the instant start was not as fast as the rabbit. Although the rabbit's sharp turn was not very successful, it bought it some time. The rabbit avoided those who were emitting malicious smells from a distance and would never go over. In a panic, he chose a slightly better direction, which was Zhou Jix's direction. Zhou Jixi was a little excited when he saw her running towards him. He tried not to release that malicious consciousness and secretly prepared a cage net in the space. When the rabbit wanted to slip past him smoothly, he instantly appeared on the road it had to pass with the net and caught the thief rabbit in one go. The rabbit in the net was still kicking and struggling. 1K and other Tibetan masters also surrounded it with interest. Looking at the rabbit in Zhou Jix's net, Wan Shao roared to scare it. He stared at the rabbit with a pair of thief eyes, planning to bite it to death, when the owner was not paying attention. Damn, it runs pretty fast. Let's see where you run this time. It also caused this dog to fall twice. Wan Shao's low voice was directed at the rabbit. The rabbit was forced by the increasingly strong malice and stretched out its teeth to bite the net. It was really a rabbit that would bite people when it was forced. Hoo, woof. The huge roar frightened the rabbit and made it tremble. Long live. Zhou Jixi stopped its roar. Okay, everyone knows you are powerful. Don't shout so loudly, it hurts my ears. Woof woof. Zhou Jixi saw that the rabbit was still biting, so he hit it casually and knocked it unconscious. He nodded with satisfaction, expressing his satisfaction with the accuracy of his movements. But after a while, the rabbit had 2 nosebleeds, and Zhou Jixi knew it was bad. Fuck, how can it be so weak? Is it a concussion? Zhou Jixi complained to the rabbit depressedly. He picked it up and found that there were bloodstains even in the eyes. This confirmed that it was indeed a concussion, and it was not light. It seemed that he could only take it home. Just cook it and eat it. Chapter 611 Microwave Frivolity. While Jay Chou was busy in the United States, people in other places were not idle either. Zhang Ziyi recently went home and annoyed her mother again. She really wanted to find a place to hide away. Producing and starring is really not a job for humans. It is too tiring. Zhu Jingli has a bad temper. Recently, the literary young women on the set can all turn into super tigresses. If the lighting is not right, they will scold the lighting technician. If the props are not right, they will scold the prop master. I don't know if it's because of age or something. He has a daughter. The last one seemed to be a niece. She recalled in her mind, staring at the latest message on the computer screen. Going back to the United States to pick up his daughter? Going back to the United States to pick up his daughter? Fuck. Look at the pictures and other photos again. A photo with Xianshan has the title with my lovely niece. After searching carefully again, there are really no photos of his daughter. The comments of some of his friends below caught her attention. 5th brother, you still have a daughter. How old is she? Could it be that she is your goddaughter after you got rich? I think it's possible. 5th brother's character is worth considering. 5th master, please support me. Please take me away. Zio Wu, do you remember Zia Mimi in the classroom that year? Come on, Mimi, 5th master is mine. He said that day that he didn't do anything. Yes, he didn't do anything. Seeing Zhou Jix's reply below, Zhu Jingli laughed. Don't, uncles, if you continue to blacken me, I will really be a bad person. Mimi, I really don't remember. If you molested me, it would be a matter, then that's it. Please take me away. Please leave your phone number if you want to support me. Some of my brothers are gars. They are very interested. You can consider it. There is also a round face with a raised eyebrow next to it. Of course, there were also serious replies. Jess has a daughter? When was she born? Zhou Jixi replied, it happened a few years ago. You wouldn't believe it. Even if I told you, I really hit the nail on the head. I didn't know I was so good. Tell us. How would we know if you don't tell us? Yeah. 5th brother, if you have something to share, please share it. You bunch of disgusting people. How come I didn't know you were so gossipy? We have always been like this. I surrender to you. Zhou replied to one of them. Okay, stop guessing. My daughter is 7 years old now. This is the result of my work more than 6 years ago. Life is really a wonderful thing. The grandfather who adopted the child never gave up looking for the child's parents. As a result, my godmother met him in the capital. He looked like me, and he was found. Isn't it wonderful? Oh my god, I'm worshipping you. Brother Wu, not Uncle Wu, that's not right, but Grandfather Wu. You are so awesome at the age of 15. Does your mother know? My mother found out yesterday. Isn't it that she finally agreed to recognize her granddaughter? Only then can she go back to the United States to pick her up. There are also people who are worried that Zhou has been cheated. He has been lurking for thousands of years, but today he is a great reply. He is really a good person. Jess, have you done a paternity test? Is your thing reliable? Yes. Zhou replied. He didn't say that he didn't look at it. Anyway, he has accepted it, so there is no need to care too much. It's hard to explain now. At that time, it was because of emotional infection. I felt that it didn't matter whether I looked at it or not. Now I dare not look at it. I have been raising the child for a few months. Even dogs have feelings for him, not to mention a child who calls you dad every day. Zhou also has feelings for NIU. I dare not look at the appraisal report. I really dare not look at it. There are some things in my heart that he dare not think about, but he has made up his mind. This child looks so much like himself. She is definitely his daughter, there is no doubt about it. Classmates and friends directly replied, awesome, I can only express my admiration. Let's encourage each other. Did everyone do anything bad or owe a debt when they were young? You'd better be careful. Go to hell. Go to hell. Go to hell. Everyone lined up. Go to hell. Ditto same. Zhou looked at the screen full of swipes and laughed immediately. These young people are quite happy. Now think about it. Zhou is sometimes a little mature, and there is really a reason. The child is already 7 years old. This is so good, you can't tell that this guy. Zhou replied with a sweating pattern, which really expressed that he was speechless about everyone's taste. Just a quick question. Jixi, how is the mother of your child? Zhou thought about it for a while when he answered, but still wrote, I'm not very clear. I couldn't remember what she looked like when I was little. When I grew up, I unexpectedly met the child. Hi. But maybe she also had difficulties. I won't talk about the past. At least I got the child. Sometimes I really feel that I'm blessed by the god of luck. Living with gratitude every day, life will suddenly become beautiful. Very emotional reply, but why is it a bit literary? Some of the replies later also tactfully stopped talking about the woman. Everyone also knew that they didn't want to say bad things about her. Otherwise, this woman gave birth to a child and lost the person. What kind of thing is this? If it wasn't for Zhou to recognize her, I don't know what would happen in the future. Zhou felt relieved when he thought of this. He lived in a daze in his previous life. He didn't meet his daughter at all and didn't know how she got here. If the old man died, what about the 7-year-old child? Wandering in the melting pot of this society is such a terrifying thing. After reading the whole article, Zhou felt a lot more relaxed, but she also had some small entanglements in her heart. She and Zhou are nothing, but she has a good impression of this man. He is a good backup candidate. At least they have never dated each other, and she doesn't know what kind of person he is. She is still struggling with whether to date him a few times to increase the time they spend together. It's better to get to know each other. If two people who have a good impression of each other just give up without getting along, it's not her principle of life. It might be a good idea to send him a text message. Zhou held the phone with her fingers, neither pressing nor not pressing, struggling to know what to do. Zhou's post was posted by Penguin. In the era without prestige, the post can still be seen by anyone. He forgot that there are actually several female targets who have added his Penguin account. Of course, he also has a secondary account. Smart people know that a cunning rabbit has 3 burrows. Even when picking up girls, you have to prepare several accounts just in case. He knew this well in his previous life, and it was less likely to go wrong when he used the secondary account to check his girlfriend's Penguin account. He added Zhou Jinglei and Zhang Ziyi to this account, but the latter rarely uses the Penguin account. She mostly uses ML and MSN. Internationalization is not just a saying. Recently, she has also registered Twitter and Facebook. Penguin accounts are really rarely used. Maybe in the future, she may also use the launch tweaks in, but in this life, Tomcat seems to be a better choice. In China, Tomcat seems to be more international and more in line with the local atmosphere and personality. Chapter 612. Processing. They caught 3 rabbits, and Seiya came out after a while. He was holding 2 wild ducks in his hands, one of which seemed to have been bitten badly by the gorilla. The other one was grabbed by the neck, and even its cry was hoarse, and it looked like it was suffocating to death. Its 2 legs and wings were flapping non-stop. Seiya compared the duck in his left hand that could no longer move, and then looked at the noisy thing in his right hand. He opened his mouth and slapped. He grabbed the duck by the neck and slapped it to the ground. Seeing that it was still moving, he picked it up and slapped it hard, until it stopped moving. He nodded with satisfaction. Zhao Jixi looked at it with a frown. Why is this gorilla so violent? He doesn't learn good things, but learns bad things. Seiya, hurry up and bring it here. Damn, it will die if you slap it again. Seiya heard his master's call, ran over happily, and handed the 2 ducks to him. Zhao Jixi took the duck, and said with emotion, good guy, I don't know how you caught it. It's a pity that the video of the gorilla catching a wild duck was not recorded. Seiya was still talking about something Zhao Jixi couldn't understand, but he understood it again by the gestures with his hands. It seemed that he saw the duck with a telescope, then broke a piece of tree, and then suddenly attacked the duck from the sky and hit it. The other Seiya used his hands and feet to catch it and bit it, then turned around to catch the slightly injured one. This one was still able to puff when he came. He touched his head and felt that what he thought was right. Yeah, that's probably it. He looked at Seiya and said, this gorilla is still useful. Not bad, not bad. I'll give you a snack when I go back tonight. Woof. The Tibetan Mastis reminded Zhao Jixi. Yes, 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 and you too. I haven't forgotten. I'll give you a snack when I get home tonight. You guys even understood this. Zhao Jixi found a stream, took out the military dagger in the space, and began to deal with the prey. They were all dead, so he dealt with them now, to avoid holding them with blood dripping in his hands. The rabbits needed to be skinned and gutted, but the wild ducks were more troublesome, so he asked Wan K to run back and fetch an iron pot and boil water before they could be processed. He did have this in his space, but this didn't make sense. Besides, there were dogs running errands, and he didn't need to do anything, so he might as well let them exercise. Yeah, that's good. Zhao Jixi also agreed with his idea. He happened to have built a small stove, dug a pit underneath, and built a platform with stones on top. After 1K brought the iron pot, Zhao Jixi began to boil water to deal with the wild ducks. To deal with feathered animals, you first bleed them, and then soak them in hot water to remove the feathers. Then he also drained the water, and he didn't plan to deal with the small intestines and gizzards. However, he still cleaned out the eggs from the mother duck, which tasted very good. After fiddling with it for a while, everything was cleaned up. Carrying a few bald chickens and bald rabbits, chasing 3 Tibetan mastiffs, taking Seiya and 2 little thumb monkeys, he went home to cook. When he entered the living room, he saw the little girl with a happy face, holding a limited edition Barbie bought by Nikki in her hand, combing her hair and tying braids. How is Niu chatting with grandma? She turned around and saw Zhao Jixi. Dad, you're back. You have to be quiet. Grandma is sleeping, the daughter said, and she fiddled with the phone with him. Listen, grandma is still snoring. Zhao Jixi took it and listened with a smile. It was true. The sound of his mother's balanced breathing was still faintly visible in the headset. I guess she was lying on the bed while chatting. Plus it was very late there. She might have fallen asleep while chatting. The phone was also slid in front of her face, so the sound of her breathing could be heard more clearly. Grandma might be tired, so she went to bed first. Niu, why don't you hang up? The daughter was still playing with Barbie in her hand. Grandma said she was just taking a nap, and she will chat with me later. Zhao Jixi wanted to tell her that the phone bill was very expensive, and if you kept hanging for several hours, mom might not know how long she would sleep. Then let's hang up first. Grandma might call you when she wakes up. If you leave it alone now, maybe 1k and the others will bark and wake up grandma. As soon as Zhao Jixi said that, Niu realized that the barking of the dogs at home was very loud, and who knows how loud the three dogs would bark together. She said hurriedly, then let's hang up quickly. She looked at 1k and the others angrily. They are barking so loudly. I won't feed them so much in the future. Let's see if they can still bark so loudly. Zhao Jixi looked at the three innocent Tibetan mastiffs with sympathy. Poor kids, you are being missed now. As the master, I can only pray for you silently. Of course, I will secretly give you extra food sometimes. Thinking of this, he hung up the phone. Then he called the third sister and asked her to go to the mother's room to see if she was lying down and covered with a quilt. These things need to be paid attention to. If you are not careful, you will get a stiff neck, and those who don't cover the quilt well will catch a cold. I really want to see grandma soon. She said she would cook delicious food for Niu, and the taste is definitely better than that of dad. The little girl licked her tongue, looking forward to the delicious food. Okay, you'll see grandma soon. Dad will cook you something delicious first. Then he went to the kitchen. I'm making Winley's rabbit today. Do you want it sweeter or mellower? Sweeter. Dad will add more honey to the Winleys instead of sugar. The little girl shouted happily. Well, I got it. Go to the small room and call your grandpa over. We'll have dinner together tonight. He shouted to his daughter. It seems that I haven't seen the old man today. I don't know what he's busy with. Oh, got it. I promised to complete the task. Niu stood up and ran to the door. 1k, 1 fu, 1 shao. Let's go to grandpa and call him to eat. Woof. As soon as they heard their names, the three guys stood up and ran over. His daughter became more and more cheerful, and he was also happy and relieved. Now he has to start considering the issue of his children going to school. Niu has been receiving homeschooling at home for so long, and he is not worried about her grades. She eats and drinks well every day, and the good food in the space makes her brain better, and her memory is also very good. Now she can speak English fluently and use slang much better than her father. She can also understand the programs broadcast by English TV stations, not to mention cartoons. But now she doesn't watch Silly Sheep anymore and watches their programs on Disney Channel every day. Chapter 613. A few drinks. After the new year, my parents came and found a primary school for the child. The primary school here is not bad. Most of the children are from farmers and the middle class who live on his farm and across the street. It's good for the children to have fun. Niu also has a few friends here. She doesn't have to go to school because they all go to school. She has expressed envy. But Zhao Jixi was not very confident about the child at that time. He was not familiar with English and was a little introverted. If he was bullied after entering, he would be heartbroken. Now it seems much better. He is in good health and has learned a few tricks from the old lady. Basically, she is the only one who can beat people, not others. She feels much more at ease. When cooking with the nannies, the old lady also came back. Walking slowly, holding the big duck and the little duck in her hands. He said, why didn't he see these two noisy guys today? The artificial lake is quiet today and there is no diving sound. The old lady saw Zhao Jixi from the window and the two greeted each other. The old lady went to the lake first, and when she saw that the little guy in her hand was about the same distance, she threw it into the lake. The little duck entered the water first without splashing much water and fell into the water in a 360-degree roll with a perfect posture. Then the old lady threw the big duck over and it was a big water float. This guy's really no match for the little duck that is a little smaller than it. After throwing it, the old lady came back. The little duck still wanted to play and wanted to catch up with it from behind. The old lady turned around and pointed her finger, and the duck stopped and walked into the lake angrily, looking back every 3 steps. Seeing that the old lady didn't change her mind, she could only pat the big duck that followed behind in frustration. The big duck patted his brother in frustration and turned back to teach this kid a lesson, but it had already slipped away quickly. The big duck raised his head and called out in frustration, quack, caca, silently, as if to say, don't run away. These two live treasures The old lady smiled dotingly. These two platypuses are unexpectedly smart. They can understand a lot of things, and their thinking is almost the same as that of a 3 or 4-year-old child. They understand joy and sorrow, and she now loves these two guys more and more. Zhou Jixi put the pot on the fire and pulled the absorbent paper towel on the center island to wipe his hands twice. Just then, the old lady came in, and he quickly called out, "Master." The old lady looked at him lovingly and asked, "When did you come back?" "It wasn't long after I arrived. I wanted to see you first, but Niu chatted with her grandmother for a long time, and then I went to hunt some game. Look, I just put it in the pot, and you came back. Don't be so polite, then you cook first. I was busy in the medicine shed just now. I'll go wash it first." "Hey, master, then you go quickly. It will be time for dinner in a while." Zhou Jixi nodded and said. The two people went from strangers to familiarity, and it seemed that it was very fast during this period. Zhou Jixi also became more and more accustomed to the life with the old lady. She not only taught him many principles of life, but also helped him a lot. In this strange country, besides money, meeting such a strange person also greatly satisfied his sense of security. When he finished cooking, Niu's grandfather just came back, riding a horse and walking slowly with Niu. Zhou Jixi exchanged a few polite words with the old man. Recently, not only did he eat and drink well, but the old lady also helped him to recuperate. Now the old man is ruddy, full of energy, and looks very healthy. He also gets up every day to practice a few times. When he arrived in the United States, he even asked Kyo to help him get a big knife from the army. Now he still performs a few routines every day. It is considered a sports project. Now he is full of flesh, not living up to his previous sickly appearance. He is really strong and healthy. The old man lives a chic life every day, and he also chants that good people are rewarded. Good people are rewarded. He used to be alone, but now he is fine. He doesn't have to worry about the problem of retirement. There are people who care about him after his death. Whenever the old man thinks of it, there are always some tears of emotion in his eyes. Another good thing is that there is no need for cremation in the future. He has already found out that burial is allowed in the United States. The Celestial Empire has been promoting cremation for so long that even the Prime Minister who fought with Zhou in the old days was cremated. But burial is better if it can be done. Things like cremation have turned to ashes, which is different from his concept. When there is no money and no thoughts, it is fine. Now that you have the ability, of course you will bury according to your ability. But now the old man feels that he can live for another 10 years, so he is not in a hurry about this matter. When he is free tomorrow, he will find someone to find a good place to talk about it. Zhou Jixi found some good medicinal wine and took it out. He drank a few cups with the old man first, and the nannies brought up the dishes one by one. The old lady was also dressed up and came out in a decent dress. The old man stood up and greeted the old lady immediately when he saw her. The old lady was still the oldest of the two, although the old man looked older. The most important thing is that the old man really knew that the Northeast was a Yang family, and he admired it in his heart. In addition, the old lady is also helping him to recuperate, so he respects her for various reasons. Sit down and eat." The old lady waved her hand and said. Zhou Jixi took out the wine and poured some for the old lady. "Master, you drink some too. I brought it back from Mengdi. It is said to be a treasure for decades. Would you like to try it?" The old lady nodded, and Zhou Jixi took a sip from a small cup. The old lady just came out and asked about the mellow fragrance, took it and put it to the tip of her nose to taste it. Nodding with satisfaction, she took a sip, closed her eyes and savored it, and then said, "But, it's really good wine." The aroma of medicine and the aroma of wine have been perfectly integrated. At least it has a history of several decades. It also uses good wine, but really good. The old lady kept praising, and Zhou Jixi was also very happy, and he used the century-old wine of Mengdi. "I'm afraid that's something that appeared decades ago, the formula and taste of Wu Liangai. This is really unreasonable. The taste of the century-old wine would not change much." Zhou Jixi put it in the space to speed up the time, so he could feel more at ease when he came out to drink it. The old lady looked at Zhao excitedly and said, "Jess, it seems that you really got something good when you went back." She said with a cup, "This is a good wine for health. I also have this recipe, but without more than 10 years of practice, even if you have the raw materials, you can't brew this taste, not to mention this good wine that has been around for decades." Zhao smiled honestly and said, "It's all luck. I came here in a hurry and didn't dare to bring more, so I poured out a few bottles. Drinking a little of this stuff makes my whole body feel comfortable and clear, so my money is not wasted." Zhao is now more and more skilled in making up lies, and what he says is also a white lie. The wine is originally brewed to nourish the old man, but the secret inside cannot be told. Well, with the wine, it's possible to live a few more years. The old lady nodded in agreement and then said to the old man, "Brother, you should drink a few glasses every day in the future and your hidden diseases will be cured a lot. If nothing unexpected happens, you can live at least 5 or 6 more years." The old man was also happy to hear this and took another sip of the wine carefully for fear of spilling some. Okay. Chapter 614 Family Meeting. After staying in the United States for a day, Zhao packed up and prepared to go back with his daughter. However, the girl insisted on buying some gifts to take back. She had a lot of pocket money given by Zhao and the old lady and others. This was fixed every month, and it was about $10 a week. Because American children also do this, Zhao certainly learned to do it. In addition to some learning rewards given by the old lady, she usually doesn't want to spend it. It has accumulated about $800 so far. Zhao took her for a walk, and the little girl bought a lot of things. Although he thought it was a bit childish, it was all the child's heart. In addition to his family's 4 sisters, 3 children and 2 elderly people, these people spent almost all the $800. The little wallet was deflated with only a few dozen left, and this little coke still looked happy. Zhao couldn't help but sigh that the world of children is really happy. 10 hours of flight could not stop the child's excitement. On the plane, he sat here and chatted with him, talking about home, sisters, grandma, and grandpa. If she wasn't his daughter, Zhao really didn't want to chat anymore. "I didn't know before that this child has a talent for chattering. It must be inherited from her unknown mother, and it is impossible for her to pass it on to Niu. I chatted with him for more than 3 hours with great interest on the plane, and then I thought of drawing a picture for my grandparents, and finally I calmed down. He put on a blanket and had a good sleep." The child tossed for 5 or 6 hours before falling asleep a little listlessly. Zhao didn't wake up, but the flight attendant helped cover the blanket. The group of people that Zhao brought Simon with him obviously had more black and big people. At that time, it was only compared with the other groups, and it was not bad. Zhao also knew that he took care of some fellow villagers, and he didn't care much. As long as he had the ability and could serve him, it was not a problem. The security company helped them get the US green card and also brought their wives and children over. It was in the name of the farm, which was easier to apply for. With their families, these mercenaries from Africa have settled down completely. No need to live in the rain of bullets, and the wife and children can have a stable environment. With their middle class salary, they don't need to worry about anything in life, as long as they remain loyal enough. Zhao also has a pension fund, and you will get compensation for work-related injuries when you retire. This also makes them feel much more at ease, and they don't need to worry about their wives and children. The only bad thing is that these people have a heavy English accent, and they often lead him astray after 2 or 3 sentences. Raymond accompanied him in the first class cabin, and there was another Eastern European female bodyguard, Camilla, who also took care of Niu. But looking at this pure muscle woman, compared with Eva's violent beauty, there is really nothing to compare. She has a strange beauty that Zhao may not appreciate, but the deterrent power is not worse than that of men. Her husband is also Zhao man. He used to take jobs and do missions in Eastern Europe. He had a friendship with Martin and introduced him to the company. It seems that he was originally from the special forces because there was a confidentiality clause signed. Zhao didn't know if it was. It was more than 10 hours after arriving at the airport. Niu was sleeping soundly. The female bodyguard, Chimera, carried her off the plane. Strangely enough, the child had a good relationship with this woman and liked to play with her. But Zhao Jixi found it strange. Was Chimera so fun? He could tell at a glance that she was a violent character. He could only shake his head helplessly. Zhao Jixi was holding the things the child bought, as well as 2 boxes of her clothes and toys. Chimera helped the child put on a hat and sunglasses so that she could sleep longer in the sunshine outside. These actions finally made him find a little bit of her feminine radiance. The mother and 2 sisters had already come to the airport, and now they were waiting to see this legendary little niece. The 3rd sister was sharp-eyed and saw Zhao Jixi coming out of the aisle from a distance. Thanks to the tall black man next to him, he was an extremely eye-catching presence under the lights. Here she comes, right over there. The 4th sister also saw it, and her eyes wandered around looking for the little girl, but she didn't see her. Where's the child? The 3rd sister rolled her eyes at her. She's sleeping on the bodyguard. She must be tired after sitting on the plane for more than 10 hours. I saw it. Zhao waved to me. Mom said and raised her hand in response. Mom, I'm glad I did my job and brought your granddaughter back. Zhao Jixi came up to her and said to her mother in a serious tone. Your child. Mom rolled her eyes at him. Let me see. Niu. I've only heard her voice, but haven't seen her yet. Mom was a little anxious and wanted to pick up the child to see. Mom, let's go back to the car first. There are too many people here. It will be bad if we wake the child up. The 4th sister held her mother and said with a frown. Yes, it's all because I was too excited. Mom said introspectively and then called everyone again. Let's go back first. We woke up the child and she was also very uncomfortable. Zhao Jixi smiled bitterly at the 3rd and 4th sisters and waved his hand. Let's go. Get in the car first. Everyone followed and the mother stuck to the Camry, wanting to take care of her granddaughter more. Everyone got in the car with all their hands and feet and finally returned to their new home. After driving for a while, arranged 2 of the bodyguards to follow him and the others stayed in the surrounding hotels and came to take shifts at any time. Zhao Jixi carefully carried the child to his mother's bed. She was able to take a good look at the child now. It was a bit dark on the road and there were many people, so she couldn't see it very clearly. Now she could take a good look at it. Mom, wait a moment. I'll take off the child's coat. It's easy to catch a cold if you sleep in clothes, he said as he held the child and fiddled with him. His skillful means, coupled with the gentle voice of comforting the child, made several people see a different Zhao Jixi. The 3rd and 4th sisters were also amazed. Normally, you really can't tell that this kid looks like the same father. The child was lying on the bed. The mother sat on the edge of the bed and touched her forehead, pushing her hair back. Looks like you when you were a child. Look at these eyebrows, this little mouth and earlobes. They are carved from the same mold as Zhou when he was a child. The mother was a little skeptical at first, but now she is sure that this child is Zhao Jixi's. She has been taking care of Zhao Jixi since he was a child. Some small features that even he himself has forgotten, or features that he has forgotten as he grows up, but his mother remembers them. And this child has some of her mother's features, which Zhao Jixi does not have, but she has. It can be said that it is inherited from the previous generation. A black spot on the right arm grows in one position. Chapter 615, Emotion. The old lady sat on the bed for more than 2 hours, and Zhao Jixi also sat beside her for more than 2 hours. This child has a hard life. She met such a father and such a mother. Fortunately, someone adopted her and gave her food to eat, otherwise she might not be able to survive. She looked at Zhao Jixi with dissatisfaction. Zhao Jixi had a face full of black lines, and it was really difficult to refute his mother's words. After a while of thinking, he murmured, "Mom, her mother might have some difficulties. Forget it. It's the blessing of our ancestors that we can take the child back." The mother glared at him and said, "You kid, hey, forget it. I won't say anything to you, lest you get annoyed by my noise again." The mother waved her hand helplessly and didn't intend to say anything more. She might as well take a good look at the child with this time. I didn't know it either. If I had known this earlier, how could I let the child wander? Zhao Jixi said a few words and felt that this was not the time to talk about this. Helplessly, he could only go out and take a look. The fourth sister would not go to work today, but the third sister had something to go to the company. The fourth sister saw Zhao Jixi coming out depressed. Knowing her mother's temper, she would not scold people, but she would say a few words. What? Did mom scold you? No, I just said a few words. As long as it's not about the children, it's my duty to talk to them. Zhao Jixi walked over and took a bite of the apple, moved the fourth sister's feet that were placed on the sofa to one side, sat down and relaxed on the sofa. The fourth sister put her feet down, turned around and stretched them up again, and put them on Zhao Jixi's legs. I've washed my feet, so they don't stink. Zhao Jixi frowned at his sister's beautiful feet. You pooped with socks on. Get out of the way. You little bastard. I'm your sister. It's just a little bit. Why are you so stingy? The fourth sister said dissatisfiedly. The last time I saw Tang Hangai you let it go. You didn't say anything and were content with it. That's different. The feeling is different. Okay. Forget it. If you didn't feel warm on my body, I wouldn't let it go. Humph. When we were little, who bit my feet and ate them as candy? Humph. Now that you have a woman, you dislike your sister. Zhao Jixi quickly covered the fourth sister's mouth with his hand. Don't worry, let it go, and don't talk about my glorious past, okay? The fourth sister nodded proudly, and her eyes conveyed another meaning to him. Get out of the way. Isn't it better for children to be like this? I didn't expect you to be so shy after having a child. Haha. Let's see how you bully us in the future. Haha. Backquote, it's not good enough that you are the ones bullying me. Zhao Jixi quickly took his hand away, which was still stained with saliva. You are disgusting. Your saliva is flowing out. He picked up the tissue and quickly wiped it. Sisters are also women, but he didn't feel anything. Other women would find feet attractive, but for sisters, the first thing they think of is whether the bare feet have been washed or there is a bad smell. Seeing that the fourth sister was still a little proud, he decided to disgust her. I just went to the toilet in a hurry, and there may be bacteria that I haven't absorbed yet. You should go wash your teeth or rinse your mouth with mouthwash. Go to hell. The fourth sister grabbed the pillow and threw it at him. You still want to disgust me? I don't care. Humph. The two sisters played around for a while before they calmed down. As expected, Zhao Jixi was defeated again. He was depressed and said, Sister, you should find me a brother-in-law as soon as possible. By then, he will surely be delighted to see your fragrant feet, and you won't need to bother me, your brother. Go away. The emperor is not in a hurry, but the eunuch is. It's too early. I'm only 24 years old. Why should I look for one so early? I'll wait and see. Maybe one day I'll meet the prince of my destiny. He then looked at Zhao Jixi and said, as for you, just be a good boy now, and you'll be free when you find your brother-in-law. Haha. Family love is sometimes full of contradictions. Whether happy or not, the days go on. Zhao Jixi enjoys the short time with his family and feels that every day is fulfilling and happy. He will enjoy living together for a short time, but will feel bored after a long time. Distance creates beauty, which is indeed the best expression for him. From this we can see that he is not a long-term person, and it is difficult for him to become such a person. In his previous life, his parents got him a house, and he lived there as a stay-at-home. Niu slept well. Although the road was a bit bumpy, it did not wake her up. When she slowly opened her eyes, she found that it was not her bed. The memories in her mind suddenly came back bit by bit. Grandma. She came back to see Grandma. Is she home now? She looked to the right and saw a kind face. It was her grandmother's. She had seen the photo a long time ago. It was so familiar. On the plane, she even drew a picture of the family portrait for several hours. But she was a little nervous now. After all, meeting someone is different from chatting on the phone. Looking at this person face to face, Niu tentatively called out Grandma. Her mother looked at her in surprise. This child was really good. She recognized her as soon as she woke up, which showed that she cared about her grandmother. Good child. Do you want to drink some water when you wake up? Yes. Thank you, Grandma. NIU had a habit of drinking some water when she got up. In the past, the nannies knew to put a cup on her bedside table, and she would drink it when she woke up. Her mother handed the cup to NIU, and she quickly thanked her. "Don't be so polite, we are all family." Dad said that good children should be polite, say sorry when they are wrong, and say thank you when others help you. Grandma Yang said the same thing. "Oh, I see." Mom nodded. NIU is such a polite and good child. She wrote down everything Dad and Grandma Yang said. HMM. Very good. Dad said that only good children will be liked by others. NIU must be a good child. The little girl is already speaking very logically. The more her mother sees her, the more she likes her. Compared to Zhou monkeyish appearance as a child, this child is the most lovable child. When Zhou was sitting outside, his mother had already talked to NIU about a lot of experiences. Face-to-face chatting can make one feel more of the suffering the child has endured in the past, even though she is already happier and luckier than most street children or orphans. What one sees in the maternal halo is only what one sees. Mom is just such a person. NIU still has a few scars on her feet from the past. Some were caused by frostbite in the winter, and others were scratched when picking up garbage. These wounds also left traces. She also comforted her mother and wiped away the tears that had accumulated in her mother's eye sockets with her hands. NIU comforts people like a little adult and speaks very logically. This aspect shows that it is the credit of the old lady. If it were not for Zhou, he would not be able to teach such a good child. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 616. A small accident. Two people sat outside and watched TV. Inside was a special performance by Zhou, a famous comedian in Zhonghai. The local TV station bought the broadcast rights. It was broadcast in the morning, noon, and evening, and the effect was really good. Zhou felt that Zhou imitated the leader's speech, holding up his palm and saying that the great leader had already said that the maximum salary was 5 yuan. The maximum was 5 yuan. After that, he was arrested. In which era? This joke is still quite funny. There is also a segment about wearing seatbelts while driving. A boss refused to wear a seatbelt and ended up fighting with the traffic police. The single shoulder backpack was used as a seatbelt, and in the end it was carried backwards and arrested by the traffic police. Zhou was very happy to see him talking about several roles by himself, and his performance was also very layered. This guy is so funny. When will I have a chance to watch his latest jokes? Zhou said, pointing at the TV. He has a special performance in the theater in Zhonghai, and the tickets are selling very well. If you pay a little more, you can get them from the scalpers. Since you are here, we will go and see them. He looked at Zhou, but you may not think it is as good as on TV. Why? His stand-up comedy is rooted in Zhonghai culture, and he speaks mostly Zhonghai dialect. There is no subtitle group on site to help you translate Zhonghai dialect. You are not from Zhonghai, so you can't understand it. Who is Allah? How could I not understand it? I'm a language genius. I can still understand a little bit of Zhonghai dialect. I have no problem with Cantonese. Don't underestimate me. Zhou said in Zhonghai dialect and Cantonese, which really scared the third sister. So amazing. The third sister looked at him in surprise. Haha. That's ordinary people. I haven't really told them. Zhou said proudly. With the little fairies in the space, there is nothing he can't understand. After learning the languages of several major countries, Zhou asked them to learn some dialects for future use. Unexpectedly, they would be useful. They were chatting happily, and the mother just happened to hold the child out. When the third sister saw it, she immediately exclaimed wow, put on her slippers and ran over, looking at NIU and asked softly, "Do you know who I am?" NIU said without thinking, "Fourth aunt." But she had seen the photo, and with a good memory, she knew who this person was at a glance. Immediately, she said with a look of admiration, "What a smart child." Then she stretched out her hands. can aunt hug you? The little girl thought about it for a while. Then you have to ask grandma. Dad said that grandpa and grandma are the most important in the family. Apart from him, you have to listen to grandpa and grandma. Then it's the aunts. Zhou. The fourth sister glanced at her brother, flattering her mother without reservation. She always remembers to educate her children, which is really an eye-opener. The mother was happy to hear this, and kissed the little girl. What a good child. Let your aunt hug you. Haha. Aunt, hug, hug, hug. The little girl couldn't bear to hurt her grandmother. She was in her arms, and had been with her for so long, and she was taken away. She would miss her grandmother, and would be disappointed. Zhou was thinking, when did he teach this? Sure enough, children nowadays are much smarter than him. The task of taking the blame will be up to your father. When the third sister came back, she heard laughter as soon as she entered the house. The little girl amused several adults and laughed, and she was surrounded by people like a princess. Hey, can I join your happy party? Does anyone know who that is? The fourth sister pointed at the third sister and asked. Third aunt. Niu said it quickly. Wow, is this the little princess of our Zhou family? The third sister looked at Niu excitedly and said, then put down the things in her hands. Come here and let aunt hug you. Come over quickly. Don't be afraid. Aunt likes children like Niu the most. Zhou said to Niu, and the child, who was a little nervous at first, let go of the tension in his heart, quickened his pace and walked over. The third sister picked her up and said in her arms, wow, our little princess is so beautiful. Niu laughed happily at the compliment. Half of the family members were gathered together, and everyone was having a good time. In the end, no one remembered to cook. Everyone looked at the time, smiled bitterly, and decided to go out to eat. The third and fourth sisters were local bosses, and they called the hotel here to book a large private room, so that there would be no room for the party. It would be a pity. The family can walk to the restaurant in a few steps. At this time, driving is probably not as fast as walking. City life seems to be fast paced, but driving is slow. You can't go faster, even if you want to. Sometimes people riding bicycles are much faster than you, which is not only green but also hugging. What does Niu like to eat? The third sister asked, while holding the child. Zhou looked at them and said, sister, she is 7 years old, don't hold her all the time. I like it. The first time I met my niece, I couldn't hug her more. Then he began to blame, it's all because of you, the father, that I have not met Niu until now. Don't you think it would have been a great thing if we had known Niu earlier? Okay, you are right. It's all my fault. Zhou has been scolded enough today, and now he quickly surrendered. Ouch, the third sister was suddenly bumped into by someone, and she was about to fall down because of an unsteady step. The people who bumped into her from behind saw that she had a child in her arms, and they quickly reached out to support her. The people next to them also hurriedly offered their hands. Zhou rushed over and grabbed her right hand to ensure that the child would not fall. With the help of everyone, the third sister had stabilized the child. Although she was stable, her heart was not stable yet. She looked down at the child in her arms, and now she was holding the child a little reluctantly. She put the child on the ground and took a look. How is Niu? Did you bump into anything or fall? Let me see. Is the child okay? Mom rushed over first to see the child, followed by the fourth sister. They felt around and found that nothing was wrong, so they felt relieved. Zhou saw that there were so many people and he couldn't help. He did not fall just now, so he didn't have to worry about it. But he was also angry. He looked at the people over there and said loudly, how do you walk? Did you look? You are in such a hurry. Don't you see any adults or children? Fuck. A young man wearing sunglasses and a hat stood up and protected the woman who had just bumped into someone behind him. Zhou's physique was still very threatening, especially in his shirt and black coat. He looked muscular and could knock down one of them at once without much effort. Chapter 617. Isn't he just a star? But he still stood up and said to him, hey, why are you cursing? We didn't mean to do that. Besides, you didn't look ahead, and it's not just our fault. The bodyguards came, Raymond and Chimera. They saw them when they came up, but they didn't have time to turn around. If they pulled out their guns, it would not only be troublesome, but also dangerous in the downtown area. They quickly stepped forward and blocked the middle with their bodies and said in English, "Sorry, boss, it's our fault." Although Zhou was angry, he still knew the right and wrong of his own people. He continued in English, "It's none of your business. I told you not to protect me closely. There seemed to be bodyguards over there, and they only reacted now." But compared with Zhou's side, the difference in size was really a lot. Especially Raymond looked at him with a very lethal look. "You'd better stand still, otherwise you will bear the consequences." Looking at his confused eyes, Raymond didn't care much. There is a language that everyone understands. He picked up his fist, looked at it, and then looked at him again. The meaning is very clear, and it is almost equivalent to international usage. Seeing that the atmosphere was a bit tense, the woman immediately pulled away the man in front of her, apologized to Zhou and said, "Sorry, it's our fault. I won't argue about this here. It was indeed because of me that this lady and this little sister were almost injured. I'm really sorry and have caused you trouble." Zhou was a little annoyed to see that she apologized so sincerely. It was really difficult to find an excuse to scold her. He is not the kind of person who is not stingy and can't do such a thing that loses his reputation. Forget it, Zhou. The third child is also wrong in this matter. Don't blame others. Besides, I saw them holding on to them just now. Otherwise the third child might have really fallen with Niu. Seeing that the atmosphere was tense and the child was fine, Zhao's mother said to Zhou, "This, Zhou. Well, they didn't do it on purpose, and I was also wrong for what happened just now. Let's forget about it. Let's take a step back." "Zhou, what do you think?" The third sister did feel that she had helped others in an emergency, otherwise they would not be able to stand steadily. She was just saying something. "The fact is like this, so let's say it." Zhou was still a little hesitant. It wasn't their child. That was his own baby. He was afraid that it would melt if he put it in his mouth. "Dad, Niu is fine, look." The child also stood up and said, turning his body around to show Zhou. However, he was not standing steadily and almost fell. Fortunately, his mother was next to him and helped him up again. "Winter weather is so annoying," the child said angrily after he stood up. He stomped his feet, maybe a little too hard, and his feet were a little numb, so he jumped up and down. Haha. This cute expression made everyone laugh, and the atmosphere just now was much better. Zhou's mind also turned around, and he didn't get into any ruts with them. He forced a smile and looked at the woman. She was not very tall, with an average looking appearance, but she was quite elegant, and her charm index had improved a lot. "I accept your apology." Then he said, "But please accept my apology as well. I was a little nervous just now. You know, as a father, I'm sometimes nervous. I'm really sorry for swearing just now. If you feel unhappy, just swear back. I promise I won't say it back. I accept your apology as well. As for other things, let them go." The woman was very good at dealing with people, and her words were very beautiful. As she spoke, she stretched out her hand, and Zhou shook hands with her. "Okay, let them be the past." They seemed to have something urgent to do, so they said sorry and left first. When they saw that everything was fine, Zhou and others then continued to walk towards the hotel. Fortunately, nothing happened just now. May our ancestors bless us. May our ancestors bless us. After the mother was thankful, she muttered a few more words. The third sister stopped holding the child and walked with the fourth sister holding Niu's hand. Why did that man look familiar? The fourth sister listened and thought about it and found that it was true. Yes, I also felt familiar, but I just couldn't remember who he was for a moment. Probably a movie star, otherwise he wouldn't look familiar. Plus, he's dressed so elegantly, there must be someone who takes care of him. The third sister analyzed. "What are you discussing?" The mother felt that she couldn't get a word in, so she followed suit. "Are you talking about that man? I think he looks like the one in the TV series, where he flies around on a sword. What's the name? What's the name? The Legend of Sword and Fairy." The third sister thought of it all at once. "It's that Hukayan. Yes, it's that man. The fourth sister also said affirmatively. Zhao Jixi looked at these women speechlessly. Come on, he's just a little star. What's the big deal? When we go to the United States, I can take you to meet Governor Arroyo. Others include Angelina Jolie, Brad Pitt, and that handsome old man Leo. What's the big deal about this little fuss now? The third sister reacted all of a sudden. It seemed that the days were different from the past. Yes. Why didn't I think of that? When I go to the United States tomorrow, I will meet these handsome old men and ask for photos and autographs. Oh my god, this feeling is really great. The fourth sister also looked excited. Yes, you even got the international seal. Before she finished speaking, Jay Chou interrupted her. Okay, of course there is no problem taking a photo. What do you want, fourth sister? You don't want to take a photo too? Jay Chou said, and winked at the fourth sister with his back to his mother. The fourth sister reacted at this moment, and knew that she almost let the cat out of the bag. Well, take it. I also want to keep one. Well. Zhao Jixi looked at his mother, and saw that she didn't react, so he relaxed a lot. He quickly tried to change the subject and said, it's so late, let's go in quickly. I'm so hungry. If you want to see that brother just now, he should be in there too. But I don't know what he is doing. He is in such a hurry. Is he going to a dinner party? He only knows how to eat. Let's go. The third sister complained. Maybe he has something to do, who knows. But the woman just now was quite elegant. Maybe she is his agent. The third sister guessed. It seems to be called Kei Yining. She is really quite elegant. She looks so young, but she is already the president of a company. She is really a role model for women. The fourth sister said with admiration. Zhao Jixi ignored their words. The only thing left was her elegant appearance. For him, it would be better to find a place to eat now. The child should be hungry now. He didn't have much appetite on the plane. In addition, he slept for so long, and his stomach was probably flat. Chapter 618, Encounter. Zhanghe is also a diversified city. When it comes to food, it is more inclined to the south, which is also very suitable for the taste of Zhao Jixi's family. In addition to feeling some local characteristics, everything else is very satisfactory. Except for the ingredients, there is no way to compare with what Zhao Jixi has. On the table, everyone drank some red wine. Mom has learned to enjoy it now. Zhao Jixi has made her a lot of luxury red wine. Drinking is one of them. In fact, it is just for showing off. If you take this red wine to drink with Sprite, it is really too wasteful. So I also learned to drink pure red wine. At first, it was a bit of a show off. A bottle of wine worth tens of thousands of Xianqiao coins. After drinking a little, I feel that my psychological quality has improved a lot. Being able to drink this wasteful wine, my mother is a bit like a rich mother. Red wine is really good, and drinking a little every day can also prevent cancer. Dad looked distressed. He only drank 2 or 3,000 yuan a bottle of white wine, and my mother's level is higher than him. Niu was very active during the meal. She not only served food and wine to her mother, but also served a portion to several aunts. The bowls on her own table were already filled for them. Although she didn't have as terrible an appetite as Zhao Jixi, her digestive system was much better than that of ordinary children, and she ate a lot. Grandma level people like to see children eat the most. Being able to eat is a blessing. If they eat and become fat boys, it is still a blessing. As for fatty, well, it can only be said that she eats too much. Well, as the few people were eating, the waiter in the private room came over politely. He said a few words in the ear of the third sister. She is a frequent customer here, so the hotel will talk to her first. If there is anything, well, then call them first. Oh, no, please invite them in first. The momentum of the third sister now looks like a strong woman. Okay, Mr. Zhao. Third girl, what's the matter? The mother picked up the food with the chopsticks in her hand and asked Niu. The group of people who bumped into us just now said they wanted to come in and offer a glass of wine as a token of apology. The third sister said, and looked at Zhao Jixi. Why are you looking at me? Come on, I'm not such a stingy person. They've given me so much face, so I can't be worse than that. Then she said to the waiter who was still on duty, go, get a bottle of your best white wine. It's not elegant to drink this red wine in one gulp. Go get it. The third sister waved to the waiter who was looking at her. I didn't expect that you've become more generous. It seems you've made a lot of progress. Of course. Zhao Jixi chuckled. But these people didn't know what he was thinking. It's better to drink white wine. No matter how many of you come later, we'll have a glass each and see if you dare. If you can't get drunk, you and I. Zhao Jixi was planning to take up space and cheat. A few people just came. One was Kayaneng, one was Hukayan, and the other one's name didn't matter. In Zhao Jixi's opinion, his presence was not worth mentioning at all. However, the other person who followed them and surprised him. Guazi, why are you in Zhonghai too? This person was a third generation red whom Zhao Jixi met in the capital through Li Shuang's introduction. He had a good relationship with him. Li Guazi came over and gave Zhao Jixi a hug and said, haha. Jixi, I didn't expect to meet you here by chance. It's really fate. There are only a few good hotels in Zhonghai. There is still a chance that we will meet. Zhao Jixi said, then looked at Kayaneng and Hu Jie, and then looked back at him. What are you doing? Oh. I just happened to arrange a dinner with Sister K and the others, and they were planning to come over while they were having dinner, so I came to see them, since I had nothing to do. I didn't expect to see you again. Kayaneng didn't expect that Zhao Jixi and Mr. Li were actually friends. It seemed that they had a pretty good relationship. I was just a little apologetic just now, and seeing that they happened to be here, and Zhao Jixi didn't look like an ordinary person, I was planning to come over and say a few words, just to make things right for everyone. What I didn't expect was that they thought they had nothing to do with each other, but they were actually related to people in their industry. If this matter is told later, it would be like a flood that washed away the Dragon King temple. Kayaneng, the woman, avoided Zhao Jixi's gaze and smiled. I didn't expect to have such a relationship with this gentleman. What is this? Zhao Jixi. Li Gua quickly pulled Kayaneng and said, this is my partner who has a good relationship with me, Miss Kayaneng. I think you should have a lot of impressions of each other just now. Then he said to Kayaneng, this is my brother Zhao Jixi. If Sister K is looking for investment in the future, you can find him. He is a rich man. Zhao Jixi looked at Kayaneng with a slight smile. He did not make any excuses, and agreed with Li Gua's words. Hello, Miss K. He stretched out his hand to shake hands with her. Kayaneng's eyes seemed to light up. Hello, Mr. Zhao. Although the meeting was not very pleasant, I think we should be more pleasant to get along with in the future. I think so too. Zhao Jixi looked at her and said, this woman is almost 40, and with his temperament, she is quite attractive. But Zhao Jixi's teeth are not strong enough, and he probably can't chew this piece of old meat. Then Zhao Jixi introduced Li Gua to everyone present, and Li Gua also introduced the people on his side. Since they were acquaintances, Zhao Jixi didn't plan to make things difficult for them. Kayaneng was very charismatic. He apologized at the beginning, and then apologized, and drank to confess his guilt. The whole thing was quite grand, and everyone felt very proud. Li Gua saw the white wine brought in by the waiter, then looked at the red wine on the table, and then Kayaneng and the others. Only then did he realize that his appearance just now saved them from getting drunk. Zhao Jixi knew how much he could drink, and he could drink 1,000 glasses without getting drunk. There was no major conflict between the two parties, and after resolving it, they talked more. Zhao Jixi originally wanted to keep them for dinner, but Li Gua saw that they were having a family gathering, and felt embarrassed to disturb them, and even said that they could get together next time. Kayaneng also chimed in a few words, seeing that they had made up their minds. Zhao Jixi didn't force it anymore, and it was enough to do the scene well. After returning to her private room, Kayaneng became a little interested in Zhao Jixi, or more precisely, what Li Gua said that, if she wanted to invest, she could find him. Li Gua, what does this Zhao Jixi do? She asked in a very careful tone, and she didn't even call him Li Gua lightly. If she wasn't older than him, and the two of them were familiar with each other, calling him Master Li would be a little strange, and she really didn't want to call him by this name. Chapter 619, New Ideas for Selling Medicinal Cigarettes. Li Gua said, the game you played recently is the work of his company. The earliest investment was more than 20 million, and now the valuation in the United States is almost 1 billion. Hukayan, who had always been very honest and low-key in front of the big guys, opened his eyes wide and blurted out, "So amazing." Li Gua glanced at him and said, "This is just a small part of him. Although there is not much news about him in China, he is a member of the board of directors of Apple and Facebook in the United States. He has a lot of shares in these two companies, and he is very influential in the Chinese community. He is very close to the Democratic Party and is their sponsor. So young, but so amazing. Where have I lived at my age?" Hu Qian said speechlessly. It seems that he has also made some investments in China, and it seems that he has built many cinemas. "Sister K, you can contact him when you need it," Li Gua said to K Yining. In Zhao Jixi's room, everyone was relieved after these people left. Zhou Wu, what does that Li Gua do? He's a third generation red. As for what he does, he invests. If someone can use him, they'll let him invest a little, Zhao Jixi said. The prince. The third sister looked as if she had seen it. "I thought so. He calls me Sister K, but he seems to be very self-centered sometimes. Most of these third generation and second generation people are more likely to cause trouble than to accomplish anything. Li Gua is pretty good." Zhao Jixi defended his friend. "I can't believe it. You look so proud." The fourth sister said to him thoughtfully, "This Li Gua is very respectful to you and Kayan and Joss now. Zhao, I can't believe that your influence of money has spread out. Everyone knows that you are not short of money." Zhao Jixi smiled awkwardly. Just now, he just looked at Kayan a few more times. She is almost 40 years old. He really can't bite off this piece of old beef. The Liu Shishi and her company is not so bad. She looks a bit like Zixi. The third and fourth sisters don't think so. Zhang Ziyi and Yu Ji seem to be 30 years old. You, Zhao Jixi, have a history of eating old cows with young grass. Now this Kayanin is likely to have a heavy taste and may also make a move. If Zhao Jixi knew that the two thought so deeply, he would definitely cry out for injustice. Forget about Sister Yu. When he went out to travel, he was still thinking about his original age. It was normal to get together with her. They were actually about the same age. Of course, Zhang Ziyi really wronged him. He didn't have that until now. He really didn't have that. He was still accused of giving young grass to an old cow. It was really unfair, wasn't it? In fact, he didn't know, so there was no if. He packed some supper to go back in the evening so that he wouldn't have to cook when he was hungry. When he went downstairs, Kayanin had already helped to settle the bill. The manager was going to call the third sister, but Li Gua knew the boss here, so he didn't ask directly, saying that Li Gua paid for it, but she paid. Zhao Jixi didn't say anything, but just knew that he had a dinner party to go to in the next 2 days. Haha. I just don't know if Li Gua will bring some little girls out. If Sister Yu had known, she wouldn't have brought them to Zhanhe. Walking on the road, he sorted out the things in his mind so that he could divide what he needed to do recently. The next day, Jay Chou couldn't stand the loneliness, so he made an appointment with Li Gua to go to a party. He didn't know Kayaneng and others for now and would talk about it when he had time. Many people came to the banquet. All of them were second generation or third generation managers or second generation rich people, etc. Among Li Gua's good friends, there were also many second generation locals in Zhanhe. Jay Chou had a great time chatting with these people, especially listening to some of their great achievements. Thinking about himself and then comparing. Sometimes he was really out of date. In his previous life, he didn't know they had so many tricks, especially a few said that their friends were preparing to organize activities on Nanhe Island and they would go to play together in the future. As for the famous Nanhe feast, he heard about it, but it was better to meet it in person. He could smell the meat fragrance from thousands of miles away, and there were young models and celebrities. If he didn't go to play and exercise at such a good event, how could he be worthy of Jay Chou's physical and mental health? Let's not talk about the distant things. As for now, Zhao Jixi is very popular here. During the meal, he took out a few boxes of cigarettes and shared them. Everyone felt that this thing was really good. Recently, a young man who had been hospitalized for more than a month because of his father's tyranny quit taking drugs, but he still felt uncomfortable and itchy in his heart. Zhou Jixi's medicinal cigarettes were used as a substitute for him, and the effect was really good. Zhou Jixi suddenly realized that this could be used as a substitute after drug rehabilitation. It seemed that the effect was quite good. At least the young man's desire to take drugs was much smaller, and he was no longer itchy. This also made him plan to think about it carefully when he had time. This medicinal cigarette seemed to have a good market. There are many drug rehabilitation centers in the United States. There are several in almost every city and every county. It can be seen that in this hateful capitalist empire, the drug abuse is much more serious than in China, and his effect of being a substitute after drug rehabilitation is worth studying. The reason why we didn't plan to sell this in the United States was because the cigarette tax was too high, and the cigarette brands in the United States were already very saturated. Now that we have entered the market for only a few years, we will not be able to occupy a piece of the pie. Let's not talk about the cost of cigarettes, just the publicity and advertising fees will cost a lot of money. Zhou Jixi calculated and felt that it was not a good business, and now this second generation has given him a good idea. Isn't this called medicinal cigarettes? Then treat it as a drug addiction treatment drug, or a drug substitute. If it is sold as a medicine, the situation and tax will be much more cost effective. In addition, this market is much broader than the saturated cigarette market. Fuck, why didn't I think of this at the time? Zhou Jixi thought about it and felt that this thing was possible. At that time, even if he didn't sell it as a cigarette, many smokers would smoke it as a cigarette. Reasonable tax evasion. No, this should be called reasonable tax avoidance. Changing the name may cost a lot of public relations fees, but compared to the market, this is a small amount of money. A small amount of money. It will not be subject to the local protection policy that exports cigarettes are subject to, and will directly enter other countries as imported medicines. Who will care whether it is medicine or cigarettes at that time? The vested interests will definitely not admit it. They will only think of it as medicine both internally and externally. Chapter 620. New Year is coming. Drugs. Modern drugs are not as easy to quit as the drugs in the past. Successfully quitting in a drug rehabilitation center is only the first step. In the days to come, you have to rely on perseverance and manage yourself well to avoid relapse. During this period, there will be scratching hearts, itching, etc. Therefore, there is also a drug substitute for drug use after detoxification on the market. There are many varieties. Some are inhibitory, but the side effects are large, but the effect is good. Some are relief. In the case of itching, if you want to manage yourself well, then take a little, but there are also some side effects. Zhou Jixi knows his medicinal cigarettes, which are basically good for clearing lungs and moistening throats. It can also prevent lung cancer and pharyngeal cancer. Absorbing the beneficial gases in the medicinal cigarettes is also good for physical and mental health. Now this function seems to be very effective for recovery after quitting gambling. Not only do people quit drugs, but they can also enjoy the refreshing effect brought by medicinal cigarettes. It's a good deal. Zhou Jixi has thought about it and will go back to prepare this after the new year. The medicinal plants in the space are added to the medicinal plants in the real world to design a complete formula. First, do some human experiments and report to the Food and Drug Administration after obtaining the data to obtain the qualification for drug sales. Zhou Jixi was thinking about a bright future and patted his arm. Brother Zhou, this medicinal cigarette is really a good thing. Brother, I have quit smoking for so many days, and I don't want to think about it today. He looked at Zhou Jixi with some embarrassment. It's a bit embarrassing to say this. Haha. Leo-kun, don't dawdle. I will go back and ask Guazi to bring you a few. As for the money, I don't need to talk about it. I don't have the qualification to sell it yet. Now the United States is still doing public relations. Only after I get the qualification, I will start selling it. Zhou Jixi waved his hand and said, haha. Then brother, you are welcome. Leo-kun saw that Zhou Jixi was open and said generously, but the cigarette license is indeed more troublesome. No, I don't sell cigarettes alone. I sell them in the name of medicine or drug supplements. Zhou Jixi said. Leo-kun was smoking a cigarette when he saw Zhou Jixi call it medicine. He was surprised and silent for a while before he said, is it medicine? Of course, this can be said to be a plant-based medicine, no chemical additives, pure natural. Of course, it can be sold as a plant-based medicine. As for whether you plan to smoke it or do something else, I can only provide a little advice. Zhao Jixi said with a meaningful smile. Leo Kun is also a smart man and figured it out at once. Awesome. It turns out that he is mixed in the capitalist empire and he is not ordinary black. To be honest, Leo Kun is not old, but he just doesn't like to dye his hair, and there are a lot of white hair on his head, so among this group of people in their 20s, he has the nickname Leo Kun. Originally, he was called Bei Tao Weng, but he is more powerful, and only a few people who are familiar with each other call him by his nickname. It's not so easy to call others. Jess, what are you talking about? Li Gua asked as he walked over with his arm around a girl. Talking about medicinal cigarettes. Zhao Jixi told him some ideas. This is a great idea. Li Gua gave a thumbs up and said, his eyes suddenly lit up. Jess, I think this thing seems to be able to make a lot of money when it is done. Why don't I get a regional agency and become a medicine seller? The people around him also brightened up when they heard this. They felt very energetic and comfortable when smoking this cigarette. If it is sold as medicine, it can also be imported into the country. Wouldn't it be enough to make a fortune? They don't doubt the ability of medicinal cigarettes. The taste is not much worse than that of cigarettes that cost thousands of yuan a pack. In some aspects, it is much better than that. This is just a sketch. It will take some time. If it is done by then, I guarantee that you will have a share. Zhao Jixi said with a smile. If you are interested, come by then. When we meet, we are friends. Zhao, keep my word. But, refreshing. Everyone cheered in unison. Although Zhao Jixi was a little drunk and spoke more boldly, this group of second and third generation still had some effect. Anyway, we have to find regional agents. China is so big that it is impossible to have a regional agent in China. We have to divide it into several parts. If we are ruthless, we can have 1 or 2 agents in each province. If we are economically developed provinces, we can have more agents. This ensures that the agents can make good use of their relationships to make sales. The time of partying and having fun passed quickly. Zhao Jixi took a girl he called from a drama school to a hotel at night. After doing a few activities that both of them were satisfied with, he sent the girl back while their school was still closed. After taking a shower, he went home. He stayed in Zhonghai for a few more days and visited some scenic spots and fun places in Zhonghai with his mother and children. The time for the Chinese New Year is getting closer and closer. My mother originally planned to come here to see her 2 daughters and ask if they have a boyfriend. If so, she would also examine them. Unexpectedly, she met Zhao Jixi and asked him to bring his granddaughter back. They have been taking care of the children these days, so they haven't examined them properly. However, they know that neither of them has a boyfriend, so they feel that they have to help arrange a blind date when they go home. As for her son, she estimated that her parents in her hometown might not want the son she had found. They were looking for a better one. Plus, she was not too old and had a granddaughter. Even if she got married in her 20s, she would not be afraid. 30 would not be a problem. By then, the child would be 15 or 16. It would not affect her to find a stepmother to give birth to a younger brother or sister. And it seemed that her son had 1 or 2 people. She did not need to worry about the next 2 or 3 years. As long as she got his 2 sisters married, she would have achieved her current goal. Zhao's mother thought thoroughly and took into account some small things. Compared with other parents, she was much more open-minded. Zhao Jixi answered the phone during this period, listening to some investment reports and financial trivia. By the way, he dealt with the farm affairs in South Korea. 2 managers had been selected there, and the financial and auditing departments had also been sent there. He also contacted Sky Farm in the United States and was considering introducing breeding cattle. South Korea began to inspect cows, and the construction of the factory was also keeping up step by step. A group of migrant workers have been recruited in the planting area. They are local people from Jeju Island, South Korea, and farmers from rural areas of Jeonju province. He also sent a batch of cabbage seeds over, and their task is to take care of these cabbages. After the first batch grows well, He will make kimchi and try to sell it on a small scale. If it succeeds, he will use the farm as a seed field and sign planting contracts with surrounding farmers to promote cabbage. When it matures, they will all sell it to him. There are people doing this, so there is no need to worry about it. It is just a small investment. He is interested in the resort area there, the beach and the sea villas, and he can invite 1 or 2 women to have an open air party. Chapter 621, Zhou and the eldest and second sisters. Zhou Jixi and his mother went back to their hometown first. When they knew about Niu's 2 sisters, they came to see Zhou Jixi's daughter and take care of her so that their father wouldn't be angry. However, the matter was not as terrible as expected. His mother had already talked to Zhou Jixi's father on the phone. He told his father about the child's life story. Although he already knew part of it, he still moved his father more than he heard it in person. In addition, he couldn't bear to beat the child. Zhou Jixi was the son he got in his old age. If he really beat him, he would feel very distressed, so he would just nag loudly. But the thunder was loud, but the rain was small. The war that Zhou Jixi was afraid of did not happen, and even his mother was slightly surprised. His father said a few words to Niu, which made her laugh non-stop. Although she was a girl and didn't care as much about him as a grandson, he liked this granddaughter who was equivalent to coming for free. The eldest and second sisters in the family saw that the child was so polite and cute, and they envied Zhou Jixi. The second sister is much better. After staying in the United States for a few months, Xianshan has been educated and taught by the old lady. Not only does she know politeness and etiquette, but she has also become closer to her mother and her parents. After returning, she has learned a lot of Chinese culture enlightenment and speaks English better than her parents. For this reason, the second sister feels that these months in the United States have not been in vain. However, the American curses that pop out from time to time also annoy her, because sometimes you don't know whether the child is scolding you because she doesn't understand the meaning of some slang at all. It's the little new year, and Zhou Jixi's third and fourth sisters are back. The family is happily making glutinous rice balls at home. There are 2 more children this year, and the family looks more lively. The eldest brother-in-law and the second brother-in-law also came to the house. The little new year was spent together at their home, and the spring festival was spent at their own home. But it's not far away. After visiting relatives on the first and second days of the new year, the eldest sister and the second sister also came to her mother's house to play mahjong. The eldest brother-in-law and the second brother-in-law would also come. There were more people coming to the Zhou family for the gathering and dinner. After dinner, the activities of playing cards and mahjong were very lively. The relatives of the Zhou family gathered together, and there were not many wins and losses every year. The losers were only about 30,000 yuan, and the winners were lucky enough to win about 100,000 yuan. The 2 brothers-in-law usually gambled for fun. During the Chinese New Year, they would join forces. Sometimes the third and fourth sisters would also join in the gambling. I don't know if they are lucky. Every year, they earn tens of thousands of yuan, and each of them can get a small share of tens of thousands. In the past year or 2, they also like to go back to their wives' homes for activities. Zhou Jixi felt bored after a while, but the children felt very fun with their hands full of white flour. He winked at the 2 brothers-in-law and planned to quit together. He is a son and easy to talk to, but the 2 are sons-in-law, so how can they quit just like that? The mother-in-law is still next to him, and his wife is not far away. In addition, they also know what happened to the mother-in-law's family recently. Although the owner called people, they still have 2 big bosses above them. He shook his head secretly. He couldn't leave these 2 people. Zhou Jixi looked at his 2 brothers-in-law speechlessly. He originally wanted to drag them into the water, but now he had to speak. Mom, I haven't seen my brother-in-law for a while. Let's go over and talk. Can't we talk here? Mom rubbed the glutinous rice balls with both hands, glanced at him and retorted. We can talk, but I have something to say, and I need them to look at the documents. Zhou Jixi continued. Several sisters laughed softly twice, and it felt good to see Zhou Jixi being humiliated. You just want to be lazy. If you want to say it here, or say it after you finish it. Who is the mother? How can she not see Zhou Jixi's thoughts? Zhou Jixi originally wanted to make an excuse to leave this job, and by the way, talk to the two brothers-in-law to see if they have any projects they want to do. They couldn't have been unaware of the affairs of the third and fourth brothers, and the eldest and second sisters also had a little notebook in their hearts. However, the two of them need to discuss the family affairs. Zhou Jixi first communicated with the two of them, and then slowly talked about it. Now they can only stop and play glutinous rice balls together. Niu is making glutinous rice balls for the first time. When she was with the old man, she played dumplings. Zhou Jixi's hometown does not have this custom. The New Year's Eve dinner is to make a table of delicious dishes for everyone to eat together. On the eve of the new year, they make glutinous rice balls. Sun made the pattern of the 12 zodiac animals and prayed for the blessing of the kitchen god. Zhou Jixi did not do much research and did not intend to do too much research. His parents would handle this matter. Even if he was alone, he could solve it by ferrying. The next day was the day to eat glutinous rice balls. Zhou Jixi saw that the child was not used to eating at the table. Niu, add some brown sugar. It tastes good. To be honest, he didn't like this kind of pasta very much before. The flour tasted a bit strong, and it would stick to his teeth. He didn't eat much every time. Yeah. Niu felt much better after adding a little brown sugar. After all, it was the first year she went home. Even if she didn't like it, she wouldn't waste it. This is much better than Zhou Jixi. He knows the value of food and knows not to waste it. Zhou Jixi has not experienced the life before the child, so it is inevitable that he cannot understand some things. But he also tried his best to understand her. If he did not have such a big appetite, he would not eat it after a few bites, or find a place to throw it away, or spit it out in his mouth. Now that his appetite is good, he can eat it in 2 or 3 bites, and he does not have to worry about any problems. He can digest it even without chewing. The digestive capacity of the stomach is not comparable to that of ordinary people. After breakfast, Zhou Jixi planned to talk to his eldest sister and second sister. They have some ideas about what to do recently. The eldest sister is a teacher, and the eldest brother-in-law is an auto repairman. Now he is also a small boss, and the two of them are still living a comfortable life. The second sister and the second brother-in-law are doing individual clothing business, and they also make a profit of 200,000 to 300,000 yuan every year. Life is not bad, and because of the manufacturer's distribution, there is still a lot of available funds. According to his idea, the second sister could just sell clothes, but under his Angry Birds brand, become his regional agent and open several stores in several cities in the province. It would be up to them to decide how many stores to open in each city according to the situation in the province, or whether they could open the stores themselves, or allow others to join. Jia only gave them the sales rights and agency rights in the province, and helped them to pay the initial capital. They could still make a profit in the future, and then the company would be theirs. It would be up to them to decide how it would develop in the future. Chapter 622 Meeting Friends. As for the arrangement of the eldest sister and the eldest brother-in-law, he still needs to think more and ask their opinions to see if they have any business they want to do. If not, he can also sell clothes and open a brand clothing store. As long as the brand is not a rip-off and the store location is not too bad, it will basically not lose money. He asked the 4 people to come out and chat in the afternoon and chose a tea house opened by a friend's father. After the location was decided, they went to sit and meet friends by the way. At the second sister's house, the two of them also had some money to raise. The second brother-in-law looked at his wife. Did Zhou tell you what it was? What else could it be? He helped the third and fourth brothers invest more than 30 million, and recently spent more than 10 million of the profits returned to him by the company, to buy them a house in Zhonghai. Although he didn't ask, he didn't want to favor one over the other. What do you mean? The second brother-in-law was immediately excited. He was not the kind of person who had to do something. He was happy to live with his own money. Not rich, but well off. But who doesn't want to live a better life? It's a good thing that the brother-in-law wants to help them. Just know. The second sister rolled her eyes at him. I guess he wants to ask us what we want to do, or what projects we have. The second sister paused and said, also, listen to what he says first, and if it doesn't work, you can interrupt. I understand. He is also thinking about us. The second brother-in-law nodded in response. The second sister drove their car to the place Zhao said, and the eldest sister's family was also ready to leave. The eldest sister is a teacher, and she is the eldest in the family. She feels that it is a bit awkward to take money from her younger brother. As for Zhou, if he wants to do the same as the third and fourth, would it be inappropriate for me to take it like this? The eldest brother-in-law was driving the car and looked at his wife with understanding. You are usually good at everything, but this time you only think about yourself. The third and fourth have taken money, and your second will definitely take it. But if you, the eldest sister, don't take it, what will your younger brothers and sisters think? You know the situation in our family. You are in charge of the accounts. My store is also making money. The money is definitely enough, but you know Zhao's temper better than me. You also know the second, third and fourth. The brother-in-law talked to the eldest sister. The eldest sister also understood that, if she didn't take it now, it would be difficult for others to do their job, and it would also affect the unity of the family. It seems that she is the only one who is noble and others are vulgar. But she still pinched her brother-in-law. You are just secretly happy. And you are telling me the truth. Of course, it is normal for a layman like me to be secretly happy. It's just like the guy who got married and found out that she is a princess. The brother-in-law also smiled and said, it's a bit like a fairy tale. Princess. How old am I? Are you going to be a prince consort? That's really possible. The brother-in-law replied, and then seemed to think of something, but seeing that his wife was in a good mood, he didn't say anything. He held back his words and continued to drive. When Zhao came to the tea house, his friend Xiaopang also came, but he brought a girl with him, which made him feel like flowers stuck in cow dung. Hey. Zhao stood up and gave him a hug. She whispered in his ear, you got over your breakup so quickly, and you got a woman back so quickly. Great. Xiaopang was still very proud, with a smile on his face. Thank you, thank you. Then he pulled the girl over and introduced her. This is my girlfriend Zhou. Then he said to his girlfriend, this is my good buddy I told you about, the modern landlord Zhao. The girl was above average looking, with a nice face but a little short chest, but he decided it was a pity to match her with Xiaopang. Hello, sister-in-law. This is the first time we meet, so call me Jixi from now on. Go, call me sister-in-law. Xiaopang gave Zhao a kick. Don't make a fuss. Zhao said to Xiaopang, hello, and stretched out her hand to shake it briefly. It was not very enthusiastic, but it was not cold either. The three of them sat down, and Zhao listened to some of Xiaopang's things, especially the interesting things in college. He had never attended college in China in his previous life, and he had not attended college in this life either. He went directly to college in the United States. We have a house with several rooms inside, which is different from domestic universities. Zhao briefly talked about Stanford. Oh my god, it's really a capitalist empire. Life here is different. Xiaopang said. Zhao smiled and said, not all of them are like this. There are also places where there are no single rooms, just two beds. It's similar to the scenes in those American movies you watched. There were people inside, and it was the same as in the movies. He gave Zhao a look that you know. This is when there is a party, and it depends on what dormitory you live in. If it's a fraternity dormitory, sometimes people have a lot of fun. But no one will go out of their way to go and see anything. If you have that time, you might as well find one yourself. Pa. Xiaopang slapped his thigh. Life here is really. What is really? Zhao said beside him in a deep tone. Xiaopang's body trembled, and his eyes turned, and he immediately said, it's really too abominable. This capitalist country is really asterisk asterisk, to asterisk asterisk. Kian, we must not let our children go abroad to study in the future. This life is too elegant. Humph. Zhao twisted him and felt relieved. Seeing that one level was passed, Xiaopang became active again. Jess, there will be a class reunion after the Chinese New Year. Are you going? It was suggested by the old monitor in the past, and many classmates had signed up. Class reunion? Let me think. Zhao had never been to any class reunion in his previous life. It would be better to play at home, if he had that time. but now this class reunion can be considered. After all, everyone has not yet set foot on the University of Society. In addition to comparing schools and girlfriends, there is really nothing to compare. Nana has also signed up. Don't you plan to go and see? Xiaopang said to him with a strange smile. Nana? Didn't she go to study in France? What? Is she back? Zhao Jixi had an impression of this name. It was his love in high school, but it was not his first love. The first love happened in junior high school. As for the virginity, it can be imagined that Zhao Jixi hit the jackpot when he was 15 years old. He did what he should do in the year of graduation. It was really impressive. The girl's appearance is still in my mind. Although her breasts are not big and her buttocks are not very sexy, I still remember the experience, that it was a little painful. The girl is not particularly beautiful, but he thinks she is very beautiful in his heart. She came back. In fact, I'm not very clear. It seems that her grandmother is sick and may not survive this year. His father and his uncle called several children back. They must let the old man have faith. Make it through this year, otherwise it will be difficult to live through the new year. Oh. Zhao Jixi nodded. It is a custom in their hometown that the new year should be festive, and it is best to let the old man survive this year. If he really leaves, he will not be able to live through that year. Not only will it be difficult for him, but he will also offend the neighbors around him. People use red paper for the new year, and they put red lanterns at the door of their house to pray for happiness. Well, there is a funeral at your doorstep, and those guys have offended a lot of people. When the time comes, basically no one will go to help out. Zhao Jixi used to have a neighbor who also felt that he couldn't hold on during the Chinese New Year. His family spent more than 100,000 yuan to buy medicine and injections to keep the old man alive. After the Chinese New Year, he really couldn't hold on anymore, and the old man passed away. But the funeral was a big event, and many people from every household came to help. Sometimes customs are hard to explain, and there are good and bad ones. Zhao Jixi didn't comment on anything. When Xiaopang saw him, he said oh, and then fell silent. Why is there no more after that? Aren't you in a hurry to meet up? Didn't everyone say that we are still friends, even if we break up? My child is 7 years old. What friends do I have? I have several girlfriends, and there are no friends between men and women. All friendships between men and women basically develop into physical friendships in the end. I don't have the consciousness to go find her. Forget it. I'm not going. Recently, Zin waved his hand and said, ah. Fatty looked at his friend speechlessly. Really? Forget it. If you don't go, I won't go either. There's no point in going. How about we go out for dinner together tonight? No need. I have to have a party with my sisters in my family later. They will probably be here soon. Tomorrow, I will book a place in the evening. You and Zhao Kan can come. By the way, call Gaozi and Xiaoleo over too. Let's get together. These people are Zhao Jixi's best friends. They were still in contact in their previous lives. Okay. Fatty nodded in response. Zhao Kan had already brewed the tea while the two were chatting. She poured out the tea that had been poured once and then stirred it a few more times and poured it into a small transparent teacup for each person. Zhao Jixi put it to the tip of his nose and smelled it. The fragrance was not bad. It tasted good. When he drank it, he nodded with satisfaction. It was indeed worth the price. Just a glance at Zhao Kan. This guy in your family seems to have a suitable major. Your parents should be satisfied too. Of course they are satisfied. They picked the person for me themselves. Xiaopang whispered to Zhao Jixi. They are indeed my biological parents. They know to leave a good person for their son. I'll have to talk to my uncle later. Zhao Jixi looked at him thoughtfully and said, don't worry, you won't complain. Zhao Kan could hear her boyfriend's words, even if her hearing was poor. Complain? What? Complain? Xiaopang was still thinking about how to make up a story. His forehead was sweating from anxiety. Just then the door was pushed open, and Zhao Jixi's second sister and brother-in-law arrived. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 623 Negotiation. Zhou Jixi and 4 other people were the only ones left in the tea room, and they sat in pairs. He first told his second sister about his plan. Considering their old business, doing clothing business is indeed a good choice, and they can start quickly. But the eldest sister's family is a bit troublesome. She is a teacher, which is not easy to deal with. She is obviously not a good businessman. The eldest brother-in-law's auto repair is good, and he has some ability to make money. But if he helps him to do a big auto repair, Zhou Jixi is a little reluctant. Men always understand men. If the auto repair company is big, anything can happen. And even if you pay the money, people will think it is his own credit. To put it bluntly, if the two divorce in the future, I really don't know what will happen. So this business must be controlled by the eldest sister. For example, in the second sister's family, the second brother-in-law is the face outside, but the second sister is the actual housekeeper, who is in charge of finance and administration. And I believe that with her intelligence, if Zhou Jixi helps her, then the company can only be in her name in the future, and the money will still be their Zhou family's money. Men are animals with lower bodies. They need to be managed and disciplined to stay in good order. Even if they really cheated, they could be controlled within a controllable range. If they divorce, they will be kicked out of the house. Zhou Jixi also had the same idea for his eldest sister. He was not going to help his eldest brother-in-law expand his auto repair business. Then what should his eldest sister do was a problem. Zhou Jixi thought about it and felt that there was really no business that was suitable for his eldest sister and easy to manage at this stage. In the future, he would have a lot of things and could consider letting his family get some regional sales qualifications in China. Now, after thinking for a long time, he thought that, since his second sister was selling the Angry Birds brand, his eldest sister would build an Angry Birds theme park. This thing cooperates with international big companies, requires them to make suitable equipment, and then finds a group of good managers, and basically a theme park is built. The tens of millions of dollars of investment in this field in China is definitely too high, and it is not a large amusement park like Disney. After thinking about it, he told this matter to his eldest sister's family. Neither of them had ever opened or done such a thing. However, Zhou Jixi said that it is really not necessary for you to do it. If you don't know how to do it, you can just hire someone who knows how to do it. Several theme parks built abroad are very profitable. As more and more characters of Sky Games become famous, he will make movies and cartoons in the future. The demand for such theme parks will also increase, and making money will be a relatively easy thing. The two of them have no idea, and Zhou Jixi doesn't mind. He said that he would give them an execution plan after the new year, to see the profit model, and the approximate profit, and they can also refer to it. The two also knew that things could not be rushed, and Zhou Jixi also discussed it with them. He nodded and took a look first. The second sister's family agreed very much. The project was very suitable for their appetite. Compared with making miscellaneous brand clothes, the brand was obviously more comfortable. According to Zhou Jixi, the network has been rolled out in Southeast Asia, and agents have been recruited in the United States and Europe. The global strategy is planned, and they are the first batch. It doesn't matter whether it makes money or not. Anyway, if it loses money, it will be his. If it makes a profit, the company store will be his after the investment is recovered. If this one doesn't work out, he will look for other projects. Even if his brother has money, he can't forget his sisters. Zhou Jixi likes money and is sometimes petty, but he has no problem with giving out these tens of millions of Cheyenne Chao coins 10 times or so. It doesn't affect him at all. After the stock appreciates, it will be several billion US dollars. The game company that was created by accident now has a value of more than 10 billion. Although this money is not enough to buy a good football team, it is also not enough to buy a good rugby and baseball team. NBA and American football are no problem. But he is reluctant to let go of the little golden chicken. Although he doesn't have much cash, it is all tied up in stocks. He still owes the bank more than 10 billion US dollars. The company only has the valuation income, and the profit rate is very good. He has not used the company's money for personal consumption. All in all, there will definitely be enough money to spend in the future, which is an indisputable fact. So in terms of conversion, if the sisters spend tens of millions of Cheyenne Chao coins each, $30 million will be enough for these sisters to squander for a long time. Zhou is not worried at all. A person can basically live a good life with 10 million yuan. His life is rich and his children can receive a good education. It is enough to visit several tourist countries in the world, Asia, Europe, Africa, and Australia. According to their experience, it is estimated that it is impossible to do things that ruin the family. 30 million yuan is enough to extend the wealth to the descendants. Zhou thinks that a lifetime of wealth is a good reward for the sisters. Several people went out to have a meal in the evening. Everyone exchanged cups, and it was a slightly drunk night. The two brothers-in-law were drunk when they returned home. The two sisters also looked rosy and had a hint of alcohol in their mouths. The second sister pulled Zhou and talked drunkenly. It was said that when he was a child, he really did love him in vain. Now that he has grown up, he also knows to think about the good of his sisters. When there is a good thing, he also wants to help his sisters. Zhou patted her back for fear that she would vomit. From time to time, he gently patted her twice. The second sister, who was still breastfeeding, made an exception and drank some wine today. Her happiness in her heart was visible. He knew it was not for money. The little money between the siblings was not money at all. It was because the younger brother had grown up. The little guy in the past, the younger brother who followed the sisters, clamoring for popsicles and candies, and the younger brother who looked at the food in the sister's hand after eating, has now grown into a man of the old Zhou family and the backbone of the family. The sisters can also get his protection and care under his sky. The eldest sister is the same. She has been the oldest child since she was a child. The eldest sister usually takes care of the younger brothers and sisters. The delicious food is also reserved for them, and the same is true for fun. She also loves the youngest boy in the family. Sometimes she prefers him a little, and the sisters will also be partial to him when they are with their younger brother. Zhou had a bit of a fucked up personality in his previous life, which led to his failure in the first few decades. It is also conceivable that he did nothing in the next few decades, until he was lost in the vast sea of people. In the end, only his family remembered that he existed. After rebirth, he did change and knew how to make progress, as if there was really a regret medicine in the world. So he didn't just enjoy the happiness brought by money. He also knew how to work hard, learn from teachers, and go to school. He made connections and expanded his circle of friends. He didn't seek to be famous for generations, but at least he wanted people to know that he had been in this world. At the very least, he wanted to be rich and prosper for his descendants. Chapter 624, Departure. Zhou called the bodyguards and sent a few people to help send the two families home, and also drove their car back. The most important thing is that he was a little drunk. He didn't cheat tonight, he drank a lot. If he drives now, no matter how good his five senses are, they will be useless. He might cause a chain collision on the road, and he will have to consider whether to drive at 70 miles per hour. After all, a driver who can't drive at 70 miles per hour is not a good second generation. My parents at home haven't rested yet. There are more card games when it's almost the new year. Today they are having a party in their new home to play cards. When my mother bought it, she cut out a piece of the living room and turned it into a chess and card area. The other piece is a leisure area for drinking tea and chatting. There are no partitions, so the light is very good. There are many rooms in the house, but they can't withstand so many people. The structure of 3 bedrooms and 1 living room is not enough for the family to live in. When they bought it, they also bought the next door. Zhou left 5 million for his mother at the beginning, and later gave them a lot of money. His mother was not in a hurry, because she had food in her hands. She bought 2 at a time, but she only spent less than 3 million, and the decoration was only about 3.5 million. There is a room for each child in the family, and the family can get together during the holidays. In addition, a dining room and a kitchen were converted into 2 small rooms, which will be used by the grandchildren when they come in the future. The wall was opened to form a structure of 6 bedrooms and 4 living rooms, and the space is very wide. It is also a good place for old friends to get together and play cards. It has been more than a month since the decoration was completed, just in time for the Chinese New Year in the new home. Zhao Jixi and others took the elevator upstairs and entered from the living room on the other side. The sound of the door opening and the second sister's drunken loud voice also made the mother who was playing cards hear it. Throwing out a card. 30,000. I'm already waiting for the card. You better hurry up. He turned around and shouted again. Who's back? Mom, we are all back. They're all drunk. Call the third and fourth sisters to come and help. Zhao Jixi shouted. These kids. Mom muttered worriedly. She didn't feel like playing anymore. Old Zhao, you help me play first. I'll go take a look. Mom called Zhao's father who was chatting with his friends. Well, then you go take a look. Come back soon. Dad said and sat down to take over the card game. Is your fifth child back? The auntie who was playing cards next to him asked. Well, he went out in the afternoon and just came back. Dad said after playing a card. Recently, our child wants to go to the United States. How is your fifth child doing there? The father felt nervous when he heard this, but he said lightly, he is still like a child. He should be doing well there, but it is difficult to manage this child. He only cares about playing by himself. I haven't seen him come back many times a year. He recently went to college. He joined a fraternity. I don't know what it will be like. This auntie obviously knows what a fraternity is, but she just wants her child to be well and not get into trouble. If this is really handed over to Jay Chou, who knows what he will become. That's right, Jay Chou is still young after all. She skipped the topic and didn't want to talk about it anymore. Mom came over and saw the appearance of several people. She couldn't help but blame Jay Chou a few times. This made his two brothers-in-law and sisters drunk like this. He could only laugh and say that he was happy today. When he was happy, he was easy to get high. It was really not him who made him drink. Seeing that her son was talking with a big tongue, the mother patted him and told him to go back and rest quickly. I don't know how much he drank. His son, who came in and acted like a good drinker, also drank like this. With the help of Camilla and another bodyguard, his mother packed them all up and took them to their room. The third and fourth sisters also came back and helped a bit, and they were all done. Zhao Jixi asked the two bodyguards to go back and rest first, and he was going to take a shower and rest. Seeing how drunk he was, his mother took Niu over and said that she would sleep with them at night. He couldn't object, he was alone. But this time the children were still in their little room, which would be transformed into a children's playground. Zhao Jixi and his parents bought a bunch of toys in it, and the children and the family were all playing in it, and they were reluctant to come out. Zhao Jixi stayed at home until the Chinese New Year. Sometimes it felt good, but sometimes it was too boring. It was not the day he liked to spend. In addition, this year was not a big year, and the elderly at home did not have birthday celebrations. Many people did not come back, or planned to come back a few days later, after the Chinese New Year, just in time for them to be less busy, and they could get together to play cards. He had several cousins, and only a few of them came back, and they were all too busy. Even his cousin who was still in high school. Damn, there were constant class reunions every day. I don't know where so many classmates came from. They just got to high school. Zhao Jixi later found out that this kid had transferred to several schools, and each school was very popular, so the class reunions after the new year were tiring. Zhao Jixi began to miss his own happy life of being alone. He still couldn't escape his selfish self when he returned to this age. When he wanted to enjoy family affection, he enjoyed it well. When he had enjoyed enough, he would enjoy his own free life. He didn't spend the new year happily, and the matter of the child was one of them. In addition, many people came to matchmake, which made him very troubled. Marriage? Damn, whoever wants to share half of my property, step over his dead body first. He didn't have any reason at this time. Even if it was just for money, he didn't plan to get married. You can't take anything with you when you're born, and you can't take anything with you when you die. It sounds very cool, but he doesn't care about it. He likes to carry money with him. He was used to being a slut in his previous life. Now that he has money in this life, he has to spend it well and slowly. It would be best if he could be buried with a lot of gold, silver, jade and jadeite after he dies. These hard currencies that maintain their value are much better than paper money when he goes to the underworld. Zhou estimates that those who burn paper money now dare to burn 100 million or 1 billion paper money, and they burn so many in piles. Even if the underworld can receive them, it will definitely cause inflation. It is far less valuable than the hard currency here, but whether the underworld will accept it is a problem. Even if he is remembered by people for his grave now, he will accept it. On the 4th day of the new year, he really didn't want to stay at home. He began to plan to find an excuse to leave and go back, to be free and easy. This is the best feeling. Chapter 625, Small Fame. If he wants to go back to the United States, or at least go to South Korea or the capital city, on the day he returns home, he feels that a month is definitely enough. This kind of life is not all he wants. As a young man who was deeply poisoned by Hollywood movies in his previous life, he also envies the American lifestyle. It will take some time to arrange for the eldest and second sisters at home, but the American Sky Games company has sent people to work with the branch here to help with market research and investigation. A plan has also been made, and people have started to be recruited and trained. After all these are done, it is almost time to help the second sister's family start the company. Another part of the investigation is about the theme parks here. In addition to the super cities of Beijing, Shanghai and Guangzhou, new theme parks will also be built in Zhou's hometown. After the construction is completed, the management rights and local companies will be given to the eldest sister's family, and the construction of theme parks in the province will also be authorized to them, but it is limited to the province. In other provinces, they can't take up this big market. Although Zhou is generous, sometimes he can still distinguish between rationality and sensibility. If you do things without considering the consequences, you will not be a good investor. The eldest sister added that it would seem a bit biased. For a nationwide authorization, it is estimated that more than 100 million Xianchao coins are not enough, not to mention the authorization fee he wants, and the park share. At that time, there were only 1 or 2 in a city. Generally, the authorization fee of Zhou's Xianchao branch would be several million. It still varies according to the local situation. The theme park is one of them. Every year, the new famous virtual protagonists come out. If the theme park wants them, they have to continue to buy authorization. This is also arranged by the people in the authorization department of Sky Games. Zhou notes that professional matters should be left to professionals. He supervises the personnel changes in the company's finances. Of course, his think tank will also review some company policies and give him suggestions. He doesn't want the company to become someone else's. He doesn't like the days anymore. It's already the 8th day of the first lunar month. After looking forward to the spring festival, he starts looking forward to the 15th day. Zhou's life is so hard that he can't say he's leaving. What day is the 15th day? What about the league day? How to say it? How to leave? But things are beyond his expectations. Something really happened. The 3rd and 4th sisters were too busy with their business. There were several cases they were in charge of, but the clients were not satisfied because they changed the people. The 3rd sister had big clients, and the 4th sister would also design dresses and wedding gowns for these people. She did unique one-on-one designs, and the fees were very expensive. When the two saw this situation, they decided not to celebrate the 15th day of the first lunar month, because the company had already opened on the 8th day of the first lunar month. Although their company was still working during the new year, the two bosses had left, and the only people working were the employees. They had to go back now, so that some people could go back to celebrate the 15th day of the first lunar month. Seeing that they were really busy, the mother could only say that they put their careers first. They had met several blind dates, and they would slowly choose in the future. There were still a few years left, and the status of the Zhou family was different now. The two daughters were also multi-millionaires, so they had to choose their sons-in-law carefully, and their character and family background could not be too different. A strong woman and a weak man would inevitably lead to family conflicts and discord between the couple. Mother Zhou considered things very comprehensively. The education of TV series is indispensable. Recently, teacher Haking and the future brother Piro are beloved, virtuous and artistic. willing to solve physiological problems at his own expense, willing to die rather than follow the hidden rules, and perhaps like to rub the anus through the back door, starred in a TV series together. It is very ethical and loving. My mother has received a lot of profound education. Compared with the TV series of that aunt, she cried a lot and felt much better. So under the stagnant water waves in Zhou heart, he sent the two to the airport and boarded the plane to Shanghai. He finally breathed a sigh of relief. Not being the first bird has always been his motto. It is said that the early bird catches the worm, but the early worm is eaten by the bird. This person, you have to know yourself. He has it. Sometimes the experience of society is also suitable for use at home. Don't put yourself on the opposite side of your family. Be more euphemistic and circuitous, and you can get good results. Niu had a great time at home. The eldest sister's son played with her, and the second sister's Xianshan also played with them. With a few new friends, they could still play happily together. Unlike Zhou, who can fight monsters with him, Zhu Jinglei, who finished filming the movie, went back home for the new year, and had to be busy with post-production recently. I finally had a break, but I didn't know what to do. I habitually turned on the computer to see what was fun recently, then hung up Penguin and went to my friend's space. When the mouse moved, I saw Zhou's post. Oh my god, please help me. Am I going on a blind date? Am I on a blind date? It's killing me. Find a reason for me to slip away. Please call me. Puchy. Zhu Jinglei couldn't help laughing. This man has to go on a blind date at home, and his life is really the same. Thinking of this, she turned her eyes and suddenly thought of a good idea, picked up the phone and called. Zhou was sitting in the living room helping his mother with cards, and by the way, he was asked by an aunt called by his mother to see him. I heard that she was the daughter-in-law of his father's old leader. Her family was also an official, and she was not young. She came with her husband to visit her relatives, and by the way, she visited Zhou's father on behalf of their father. The last time Liu Zhou went to see his old leader, the old man was not in good health. The doctor said that the old mountain ginseng that had been aged was very helpful to him. Well, recently, the father of a good son took out his mobile phone and called Zhou without saying a word. It was like an order to ask him to send back a few old mountain ginsengs. Zhou almost had a back injury. His father really thought he had everything. This mountain ginseng space planting was originally a money-losing product, plus his stingy personality, or it was used to give people, and the father had no chance to speak. At that time, the old leader's family thought he was bragging, although he didn't say anything. But the father was also sensitive. This would lose face in front of the old leader, and he was not willing to do it. As a result, the father slammed the table and scolded his son in the ward. Zhou was shocked on the spot. It was the first time that his father, who treated him like a treasure, scolded him like a dog. He ordered a 100-year-old mountain ginseng from South Korea, and a Siberian ginseng on the spot, all of which were very old. The old leader's family was half believing and half doubting about what Zhou's father had decided at the sanatorium. Zhou shipped the goods on the same day, and the next day they were sent to them by Air Express. A metal sterilized packaging box, triple password lock, global satellite positioning device, fireproof, waterproof and explosion proof. This surgery is high-end and classy. Zhou just wants to show people his power. After opening it, you can see that the box is filled with old mountain ginseng with clear roots, which are now fixed on a box. The doctor came out and recognized that it was indeed genuine, and they were all good products with years. The whole family looked at Zell's father in shock, while the old man was modest, but still spoke in a low-key manner with a proud expression. This child has been spoiled by me, and his personality is a bit stingy. He has hidden a lot of ginseng over there. Last time, he boasted to me that there is no old store in China that has more ginseng than him. He also said that he buys high-quality ginseng all over the world. He has collected a lot of good stuff from Korea. He probably hasn't let go of the domestic stuff either. The same is true for Siberia. He has plowed almost all the ginseng production sites and asked to hire informants in the local area to tell him immediately when there is good stuff. Zhou Jixi didn't expect that the things he arranged casually would be used to cover up the raw materials of medicinal fragrance. He would say it so proudly to his father. In fact, many of them were sold by his left hand to his right hand, and by his right hand to his left hand. Sometimes he also sold some of his goods through others, or bought some real ginseng from outside, to keep the momentum of making money instead of losing money. Anyway, after buying it back, put it in the space, to absorb some spiritual energy, and even the dried ginseng can become better. The profit can be increased by more than 30% after reseling, and sometimes even 80%. He was very careful in this matter, and wanted people to know something, but did not let people know much. As a result, the exact number of goods he had on hand became a mystery in the Chinese American community. This also made the price of the incense high. The price of the incense circulated in private hands outside increased by at least 30% compared to when it was in Zhou Jixi's hands. Now there are still some people who collect it as a value preserving item. After buying a box from Zhou Jixi that can better preserve the incense, many people bought it in the private circle. After a few months, they really made a fortune. Zhou Jixi's shipments in half a year were not much. In fact, after deducting the daily needs of each person, there was really not much left. Some people bought more than half a year's worth of goods with the idea of preserving value and collecting. This kind of consumable luxury goods, if one day it is out of stock, the only goods on the market, will definitely increase in price immediately. Even if Zhou Jixi can really supply goods stably every year, the price will not fall, and he himself will not let the price fall. The upper class people are very clear about the profit-seeking mentality of capital. So after this capital with ulterior motives entered, the price of medicinal incense on the market also went up a bit, and the private circulation supply became very small. In addition, many new people joined, and it was really only by entering this circle that you could get the goods. And those who wanted to get the goods from Zhou Jixi were not introduced by some Chinese elders, or those who had a certain influence in Zhou Jixi's circle of friends, and those who knew Zhou Jixi through these people. It was impossible to get the goods directly from him. What they got were basically private circulation products, and many rich people who ordered medicinal cigarettes became miserable. A cigarette can be lit for several sections, and those who are more stingy and actuarial need someone to watch them with an oxygen tank to ensure that they don't light it too much. According to the best effect strategy obtained by the internal circulation people, it is actually not necessary to light a stick of incense. In a small or medium-sized space like a cigar room, about 2/5 of it can achieve the best physiological and psychological effects. After Zhou Jixi learned about the matter from the Chinese elders, he was really a little bit amused. This rich man also has such a hard time. Later I thought about it. How could he be so hardworking? People who are careful with money have reasonable planning and use. That is called smart. And he also got an unexpected code name. People in the circle don't want more people to know who he is. They all call him pharmacist in front of outsiders, and this code name is really a little popular. Zhou Jixi thought it would be better to call him a biologist. He is interested in this reputation. Chapter 626. Colonel Zhu's discussion with his father. After receiving the goods, my father's old leader was very interested in his son. He was so young and had a lot of hot selling goods in his hands. He also heard a lot of things about Zhou Jixi from his father. He was a little impressed by the luck and brains of this young man. However, they were embarrassed to accept these millions of ginseng. There were still 3 good ginsengs, but my father refused to accept the money. The old leader was different. He had done him a favor in the past. He didn't dare to come when he was young, but now his son has made progress. Coming to see him was not to covet wealth from the old leader. Father Zhou was very willing to have the opportunity to do something for him. After struggling, the old leader made the decision in a military style. He said that they were all family members, which was considered to be a definition of the matter. His wife also knew about Father Zhou and agreed. In fact, he was very optimistic about his father in the past and gave him special treatment in the army. There was a live ammunition drop during the exercise. If he hadn't been alert and saved his father's life, there might not be Zhou Jixi now. There is still a small piece of iron on his back for his father. He felt sorry for his father. His military quality was very good, but his education level was a flaw. The young father didn't understand it very well, which inevitably made him a little disappointed. Coupled with that mistake, his father could only leave the army in despair. He didn't dare to look for his old comrades for more than 20 years. Only recently did his son start to shake up. There was nothing missing at home. He wore valuable items and drove a car worth millions. Now he was not afraid of what people would say when he went out to visit. In this way, the friendship between the two families was established again. The father and his old leader's family also called each other uncle and nephew. He and his son, who had known each other and were in the same class, also called each other brothers. In the blink of an eye, the two families resumed contact and became old friends. Zhou held the cards in his hand, but his mind was no longer on this. Mom was on the phone with something to say. He felt a little uneasy when he saw the aunt opposite him, and the officer who was sitting not far away and chatting with his dad seemed to be a colonel. It was not easy to become a general in the peaceful times of the Celestial Empire. Basically, you can only wait for time. When the old generation retires, new people will take over. Jess, I heard from your mom that you haven't found a girlfriend yet? The aunt opposite touched the cards and asked him casually. No, I have dated a few girls, but I don't think they are suitable. I'm still looking for a girlfriend slowly. It's better to be alone than to be with someone who is not good enough. Zhou also said casually. I heard that this woman was from a government department. How could he not know that his father knew many of these big figures in his previous life? But it's not surprising that he knew them in this life. Sometimes friends have to be well matched. In his previous life, his father was inevitably a little inferior and was just average. When he looked at these shining people, this gap was not something that ordinary people could bear. Well, that's right. You've thought about this very well. It's much better than our son. The aunt nodded in agreement, and at the end she mentioned the son. It seems that this third generation is obviously a red third generation, and has done a lot of unreliable things. Average. I'm just average. Zhou said modestly. Zhou is indeed not as stable as you. Although he is a little older than you, he has not adjusted to the state he should be at his age. He needs to learn more from you in this regard. When you have time to go to Nandu, get closer to Zhou so that he can see the difference. Of course, Zhou couldn't just continue like this. It would be a pity for a mother to belittle her child and elevate herself. He just smiled and said, Brother Zhou may have his own ideas, so you don't have to worry too much. We are still young, and time is our greatest asset. Hey, I just realized that I'm old when I was talking. This world will still belong to you young people in the future. The aunt laughed at herself and said, forget it, let's not talk about him. I originally wanted to ask him to come over and get to know you, but he recently went to the capital. This kid, she said with a distressed look. It's okay, aunt, there is still a chance. The next time I visit you, we may be able to meet. But I spend most of my time in the United States. If you have time, you can go to the United States to play. The scenery and air over there are first class. Zhou was waiting for his mother to finish the call early so that he could get rid of it quickly. This aunt's sister-in-law has a daughter, and they are trying to match him up. This matter made him very uncomfortable. It is impossible for him to take advantage of this family and leave. Old Zhou, how is old Zhou's health recovering now? Dad made a pot of tea and poured him a cup and asked. After eating old mountain ginseng, my body has recovered very well. Now I can stand up and walk, and I can speak with full energy. Zhou Yuanchao was obviously much happier when he said this. It's really thanks to you. The old man has been talking about you a lot recently. When you have time, go to Nandu to sit and accompany him. That's good, that's good. The old man was also happy to hear that, and kept saying good, and then said, it's all what I should do. The old leader almost lost his life for me. What I did is insignificant. Zhou Yuanchao patted his father's shoulder, and the two of them were silent at this time. Then the old man seemed to remember something. Recently, this child brought me a lot of medicinal wine from the United States. Take them back when you go back. Zhou Yuanchao was not polite and nodded to express his gratitude. It's okay to accept such things because of the friendship between the two families. When he came, he brought famous cigarettes and famous wines, and also brought a lot of special products. Father Zhou took them without saying a word. Is this kid just doing herbal medicine business over there? I wanted to ask this last time, but my dad wasn't very clear either. Anyway, he attributed this kind of thing to investment. The old leader used to be a pioneer in overthrowing landlords, so he didn't dare to say that his son was a big landlord. Although it was nothing, he still said it a little vaguely. That's not the case. According to him, he is an investor. I heard from the children that he is a non-executive director of Apple, the one who bought computers and mobile phones. There is also a Facebook who is also a director there. He also opened a game company himself, just for children to play and chat with. As he said this, the father seemed to have thought of something and took out the Apple phone that Zhou bought for him. Hey, it's on this phone. I don't know much about the other things, but this cat that can learn to talk with you is quite interesting. My little grandson likes to play with it. Although Zhou is a soldier, he still knows about multinational companies like Apple. This non-executive director is not ordinary, a Chinese, or now a Chinese. Being able to enter such a company as a director shows that he is extraordinary. In addition, those who can enter the board of directors probably also hold a lot of shares, but I don't know how many. As for what the game company is related to, he doesn't know much, but he does know about Facebook, a social product that has been rising for a few years. Children who go abroad to study all play it. His kid has it too, and his niece also said it's good. The domestic penguin is said to be a castrated version, and he doesn't really understand it. Suddenly, he felt that Zhou, who was sitting there playing mahjong, was extraordinary. With such an identity and current attitude towards life, it shows that this child is very powerful. I didn't expect Jess to be so powerful. I know Apple. They are now the company with the most stable and fastest growth rate in the United States. The market value is approaching Google. The father was also happy to hear people praising his son. I don't know much about these. This child doesn't say much usually. It's all the girls who told us. He always said that he wanted to be a biologist and make some money by investing, just to improve the quality of life. If Zhou heard what his father said, he would definitely give him a thumbs up. It's so pretentious. Isn't it really domineering? It really is. Colonel Zhou was shocked by his father's words and immediately felt that this child was good and he was positive and ambitious in life. At this point, his father was a little proud, and he was very proud. Recently, this kid got admitted to Stanford. He came back and told me that he will be able to have a graduate student after submitting a few papers this year. In a year or two, he will bring back a doctoral student for our Zhou family. Congratulations, brother. Colonel Zhou also said with a smile. Then he felt that the atmosphere was good, so he opened the conversation and said, by the way, how about the thing I told you last time? Have you told the child? The child of your sister's family? The father asked. Yeah. That's the little girl next to my dad. You've seen her a few times. Dad knew Zhou's character and didn't dare to say too much. I did mention this to him once, but you know that kids nowadays are a little disgusted with blind dates. He didn't give me any reply and just found a topic to change the subject. He had a good impression of the girl. She was gentle and polite, and she treated people very well. She was 3 years older than his son, but a girl 3 years older than his son is a treasure, which is a good saying in his hometown. Especially for girls with good families, this saying is even more reliable. But the problem is that his son doesn't seem to be short of gold bricks at the moment. This is a problem. I also think Yair is a good kid. If she wants to marry into my Zhou family, I will definitely agree. We are old brothers, and I won't say any nonsense. I know my kid well. If he doesn't like her, it's useless for me to like her. As he said this, he saw that his old friend wanted to say something, so he waved his hand to stop him, but I can't just watch such a good daughter-in-law pass me by. Recently, I think he has been sitting still for a long time and is eager to make a move. I want to give him a reason to ask him to go to the capital for a blind date. I think he can go. Seeing that Zhou's father was so sincere, Colonel Zhou was also very satisfied. We, as elders, can only add fuel to the fire for them. As for whether they can burn, it depends on the children's luck. Chapter 627, Blind Date Plan. Zhao Jixi flew to the capital alone, and he didn't even bring his bodyguards. According to his mother, what's the point of bringing a group of people with you? Are you showing off to other girls? Or do you think you are very powerful? As for his daughter, his mother directly deprived him of his custody, and now she is with him first. Let him go to the capital first to complete the task assigned to him by the party and the country. Whether he likes her or not is one thing. Whether he meets her or not is another matter. Maybe he will fall in love with her when they meet. It's hard to say about fate. Anyway, his mother and father told him a lot. They also listed that they should talk about it first. If he doesn't like it, he won't lose anything, right? It's said and said. Plus Zhao Jixi also wants to go out, and it's boring to stay at home all the time. The colorful world outside is a kind of enjoyment. The life that people want to live is that if you want to hide in the world, there is a paradise, and if you want to enter the world, you can go into the colorful world to consume. Zhao Jixi took out his mobile phone and took another look at this woman. She looks quite in line with his aesthetics. She has a great figure, and her chest diameter is extraordinary at a glance, which meets his first appetite. She has an oval face, long flowing hair, and a small mouth, which are all good. But her eyebrows look a bit too heroic, which is not so good. Zhou Ye is 25 years old, vice president of a real estate company. The water here looks a bit deep. I don't know who opened it in the Zhou family, but it has nothing to do with us, and I don't think they will be at risk of double regulation. While Zhao Jixi was talking about this woman, someone in a building in the capital was also talking about it. Mom, which young man are you looking for this time? Do you think those guys in our circle are suitable for your daughter? I've only just started, so why are you so anxious that I can't get married? Don't worry, I won't look for kids in the compound this time. These people don't look very reliable. You really can't blame mom for what happened last time. Your aunt introduced him to you. You don't know her, but she herself is unreliable. I just believed her blindly. I introduced that boy to you, and the result was, hey, I won't say more. After a pause, she continued, this one is different. It was introduced to you by your uncle. He is definitely a good kid. Your uncle usually doesn't ask for anything, but when he does, he's the best. This time, the guy from their family wants to snatch him from her family. If your uncle hadn't been keeping an eye on you, who knows who would have snatched him away? Zhou Ye rolled her eyes helplessly. Her mother turned the page really quickly. Before she could calm down, she introduced another person to her. She flipped her hands a few times. He is a Chinese, a shareholder of Apple, a shareholder of Facebook. He is 22 years old. He is an investor in the United States. Isn't this information too unreliable? Whose family is this? How can he influence Apple in the United States? How can they let such a young person join the board of directors? This is too much of a joke. Zhou Ye laughed ridiculously. This is true. I'm not lying to you. If you don't believe me, go check it out. There is still some information about him on Apple's website. There are also some magazines in the United States with him on the cover. I checked it for you, and it is all true. He doesn't rely on his father. Oh, by the way, you also know his father. It is Uncle Zhou who came to see your grandpa when he was sick last time. He is this person's father. Her mother explained on the phone. Uncle Zhou. Zhou Ye recalled the memory of him in her mind. She remembered that he was the one who slammed the table and scolded his son. As a result, he sent ginseng the next day. They were all good ginseng that was over 100 years old. The market price was several million, and it was generally not available. Is he his son? Yes, it's his. Zhou Ye turned on the computer and looked inside. Even the shareholding materials were there. She calculated according to the shares in it, and the computer came up with a lot of numbers, which were really eye-catching. If converted into Chao currency, it would be more than 10 billion. 22 years old? Isn't it a bit too cruel? Mom. More than 10 billion. His wealth, converted into US dollars, according to the market value, it would be more than 12 billion Chao currency. This is just calculated for Apple, Facebook or other unknown. It may be more. As a businessman, Zhou Ye knew that investors would not put all their eggs in one basket, and diversifying investments was the safest way. Zhou's mother was also shocked. So many? All his? Yes. This is still the least. Zhu said. Zhu's mother was silent for a while. It's not a good thing to have too much money. But he still reminded her and said, then you should take a look first. We are not the kind of people who talk about money. You go and meet him. Whether you like him or not is one thing, but at least you should give yourself a chance. Do you think I'm right? Yes, of course you are right. Zhu could only say helplessly. Since she decided to meet him, she also tidied herself in front of the mirror, touched up her makeup, and asked her secretary to come in to explain things. It is estimated that she will spend the whole day today. Regardless of who the blind date is, she is someone who has done a favor to the old man of the Zhou family. If the blind date fails, we can still be friends. Mr. Zhou, what are you doing again? Seeing that Zhu was in a hurry on the road, one of her partners seemed to know something and asked another question. Okay, you're the only one who talks too much. I won't stay in the company today. You guys need to do your sales work recently. Let's fight a good battle this time. Come on, you should hurry up and do your job. Don't worry about my side. There are people doing it. I'll just supervise and do it. As she said that, she seemed to be afraid that Zhu would continue to talk to her about work and immediately turned around and was about to leave. Oh, by the way, your eyelashes are a little crooked. Fix them quickly before you meet people later or your image will be ruined. Zhu touched her nervously, and when she heard her running away with a smile, she realized that she had been fooled by this girl again. Zhou found a hotel and booked a room. He took out the clothes that were open and put them in the hotel. After checking the schedule, he went in to take a shower, changed into a decent casual suit, a scarf that matched the real top 10 fashion sense, and his favorite windbreaker. This outfit was almost done. He had been resting for a while, and he looked at his watch. The time was getting closer and closer to the agreed date. It was almost time to go. Hey, he said he would not go on blind dates, but he didn't expect to go this time. Because Colonel Zhu's father had saved his father once before, otherwise he might not have been able to get Zhou. Chapter 628, The Pretentious Zhou and the Late Woman. Some friendships are like wine, hidden for so many years, but when taken out, they are full of fragrance. This is what his father and his old comrades said. Since he is here, Zhou should try to see more women. It is not a bad thing to know one or two more women. Mom, I'm out. I'm serious. I have put on makeup, not perfunctory. Okay, I know. Please don't say it anymore. We are also a wealthy family. Why do you need to be so serious? Zhu received a call from her mother while walking on the road and said helplessly on the phone, your father passed away early. I have been a big shot since I was a child. Okay, Mom, I understand. Be serious, don't hit her. As you said, I'm a few years older than her. I should take care of her more. Don't be aggressive. I remember it all. Zhu recited the tight-hoop curse to her mother while walking on the road. Zhou walked into this very literary wine shop. Music seems. The main color is red brick, and the wooden chairs are covered with mortar. There is a table in the middle with a lot of wine, red, yellow, and white. There are not many customers at noon. One or two people seem to be quite literary. They order a cup of coffee or wine, sit there and feel sad about the passing of time to attract young girls. Zhou found a seat against the wall and sat down. He ordered a cup of coffee and asked for a few small plates of dried fruits. Seeing that no one had come yet, he took out his mobile phone and started playing with cutting watermelon. Women really like to be late. I just want to see how many minutes this woman is going to be late. Zhu, who was on the way, was really helpless and looked at her watch from time to time. At least 5 minutes late. She knew that this person was Chinese and still lived in the United States. She knew the concept of time without thinking, and she didn't think she would have a good impression of being late. You can't leave. You bumped into someone. Do you still want to run? An old lady grabbed her hand and said angrily. Zhu tried to hold back her anger. Her good upbringing made her unable to bear getting angry at such an old and weak person. Moreover, throwing tantrums and cursing on the street would simply lower her class. She didn't want to lose face. Hey, brother Zhu, I'm on Wangfujing Street now. Come over and help me deal with it. Someone is blackmailing me. Hey, how can you talk like that, little girl? It's obviously you. Old man, you'd better let go immediately. I won't leave. Also, you'd better not touch me with your waving arms. Otherwise, although you are an old man, you will still have to bear legal responsibility. Zhou said to her with a cold face. I won't say anything to you now. The police will come to solve it with you. I believe that the law is fair and it can also prove my innocence. Many people gathered around. Zhou took out her sunglasses and put them on with a cold face. About 7 minutes later, the person she had just called came over. He looked at the angle at the scene and seemed to have found something. After walking for a while, he took out a surveillance video of the surrounding stores and immediately knew whether it was blackmailing. Yeah, aren't you going on a blind date? You're only half an hour late, so it's not too late. As a cousin, he still knew about his sister. Yesterday, everyone at home knew about this diamond man. He is definitely better than most of the children in China, not to mention that he is also influential in the United States. Zhou looked at her watch. It's been half an hour. Go over and take a look. It's considered to be doing everything possible, and it also shows that she has been there. Zhou played cutting watermelon for a long time and played dozens of levels of Angry Birds. It's almost time to pass the level, but he also encountered many problems in it. 20 minutes passed, and the girl didn't come yet. He took out his notebook and started a video conference with Sky Games. You can refer to what I said in the next version, but remember, I'm just giving suggestions, and you have to make a choice according to the best solution. I haven't participated in this project for a long time, so some things may not be as clear as you. You can veto, but you have to give me an explanation report afterwards. Okay, boss. The team leader nodded and agreed. Now they also enjoy sales dividends, and as for copyright, it really has nothing to do with them. The copyright belongs to Zhou, and they are just craftsmen who make what he designed. But now, they have begun to change and want to become better. Andy, how is the prototype of my new tribal war going? Zhou said to the CEO of Sky Games who was watching a video in the office. It's a small sample, and the company's testers have tried it. In the busy work, it is really a good game to play it when you have time, and I'm optimistic about the sales of virtual gold coins in it. Andy said excitedly, boss, you have come up with another great idea. Okay, thank you for the compliment. But I hope that more creative people can emerge in the company, and my position as creative director is always ready for them. Zhou shrugged and said, the image of Angry Birds has been licensed to Bird Clothing. After our second wave of advertising is rolled out on a large scale, the clothing company will follow suit and open flagship stores and franchise stores in America and Europe first. And boss, Mr. Zuckerberg is very interested in our Tomcat recently. Does he think we can talk about it? Andy asked. No, Andy, although Mark and I have a good personal relationship, business is business. Our kitten is not fat enough. Now is not the best time to sell it, and Facebook is not the best buyer. Microsoft, Google, and AOL are our potential customers. Our kitten is a good supplement for them, but Harvey should do the copyright stripping and differentiation as soon as possible. I hope that, even if I sell Tomcat, it can continue to bring us profits. But if the kitten can make more, then we can only cause some trouble to those companies. Andy nodded after listening. He knew that Zhou was thinking about poaching. The social software Facebook may not be easy to poach because of the directors, but Twitter is a good choice. I believe that we can poach a good candidate to bring this strange Tomcat back on the right track. After Zhou walked into the wine shop, she looked at the position where Zhou was sitting, as if she had a telepathic connection. An Apple laptop, a Bluetooth headset, 3 cups of coffee that had been finished on the table, and a dried fruit plate with only leftovers, and there were several plates, probably a lot of them were ordered. Zhou drummed his fingers on the table. Fuck, are you new here? I don't need a reason, I just need a result. Find a few more companies to poach people from Twitter. Do you need me to tell you about their internal conflicts? I want my Tomcat to have a suitable CEO when I return to the United States. This is the result I want. Chapter 629, The Pretentious Phone Call. Zhou Jixi pressed his headache and said to another person on the video, Elena, where did this rookie come from? How come my think tank is full of such women? Elena still said lightly, with confidence in her tone, she is just a little nervous. This is just a necessary process. When you return to the United States, I think she will give you a satisfactory result. Okay Elena, I hope you are right. I don't like disappointment. You will be satisfied. Boss. That's the best. Zhou Jixi said seriously. Zhu Ye planned her steps and considered whether it was a good time to go up. Obviously, she was very impatient. Until now, she thought she would not come. Now she is doing her own thing. God knows Zhou Jixi was just on a whim. He was playing games and called his men to yell at them. Maybe he just wanted to vent his frustration of standing up a woman. Zhou Jixi chatted for a few words here and found that the coffee was finished again. I looked at my watch again. It's been 48 minutes. It seems I should call her to remind this lady who has no sense of time. Zhu Ye heard Zhou Jixi's muttering not far away and blushed. But at least it proves that she is still waiting for me, which is good news. Just as I was about to go up, Zhou Jixi's phone rang again. Hi, Comrade Zhu, it's really a surprise to receive your call. By the way, how is your post-production going now? Is it done? Not yet, but I couldn't help but want to call you when I saw your post. Zhu Jinglei said jokingly. When the blind date is going on, it is really a fun thing. My parents think that people should give themselves more opportunities, but this opportunity is obviously not a good idea. Zhu Ye pouted when she heard it. She was cute and cold like an urban girl, and she had a good temperament. She was really tempting. Are you saying bad things about me? But being late is really annoying. For a girl who has a strong sense of time, she can still forgive Zhou Jixi for this. Zhu Jinglei was a little happy in her heart, but she asked carefully, unreliable? Zhou Jixi said a little depressed, I don't know. Women have always been the most difficult creatures to understand. I don't know if she likes to be late or if something delayed her, but this is not the most important thing. The result is the same anyway. I stood you up. Zhu Ye replied to him in her heart, how could I stand you up? It's not far in front of you. I can't tell that the rich nowadays still have such troubles. Haha. Everyone has troubles. It has nothing to do with wealth. Zhou Jixi always has to be philosophical when talking to the literary lady, which makes him look more literary. But I'm thinking whether I should call to ask, but I'm worried that people will think that I'm rushing her. And as a latecomer, shouldn't she call to notify or inform me first? Zhu Ye listened with her ears erect. When she saw Zhou Jixi say this, her face immediately turned red. Just now, she was just thinking about getting things done quickly and came here, and she even forgot to call to inform her on the way. Dizzy. I can't imagine what you look like on a blind date. Can you take a picture for me? I think it must be fun. Zhu Jinglei laughed again. This is obviously not a good idea. Okay, stop laughing at me. I'll call and ask. It would be bad if something goes wrong. Zhou Jixi said. Okay, whatever you want. I'll continue with the post-production. That's it for now. Let's go out for dinner tomorrow and then go see the sample. Zhu Jinglei said and invited him. Of course, I also invested a lot in the movie and it's time to see your results. Zhou Jixi seemed to have forgotten something and continued. I have invested in many cinemas in China. We may apply for a cinema license together in a while. By then, we will all be family members, and I will give you a good schedule. Cinema? Zhu Jinglei was surprised. When did you invest in this? I entered the market this year. My investment consultant thinks that the Chinese film market is rising year by year. Although some cinemas are now operating at a loss, the cinema fever is getting hotter and hotter. The cinemas built this year may be sold at a price higher than 50% next year, or even doubled. These are all good signs. Now, a lot of international hot money is also pouring into this side. I plan to unite some people in China, plus some friends in the United States, to use our financial advantages to seize territory. This will be a good business. Zhou Jixi said some of the attention of the think tank, but many people also knew about this. It's just that there is number 100% certainty in business. Even if it is a good project at the moment, it may collapse. Even if people know about the business, they may not necessarily invest, and those who invest will be more careful. It's like some big truths that everyone knows, but how many people can do it? Zhu was just worried that Zhao Jixi called. What should she do? Should she go up directly or say something? But she didn't expect that he became happier and happier as they talked. It was obvious that he forgot something. Where's his phone? Didn't he call? Wow, Boss Zhao, it seems that we small directors will have to try our best to curry favor with you in the future. We are just waiting for you to give us a meal. Zhu Jingli joked with him on the phone. That's good to know. Then do you have to curry favor with me tomorrow? I haven't eaten the full banquet yet. Do I have to show my appreciation? Haha. Zhao Jixi also said with a smile. Then you should sell me out. The two chatted for more than 10 minutes before Zhao Jixi hung up. Looking back, I seem to be about to call Zhu. I don't know what this woman is doing. She should have said something, if she was coming or not. Hasn't come yet? Could it be that you called me, but couldn't get through just now? Zhao Jixi muttered to himself, then looked at his phone. It seemed that there were no incoming text messages. He also subscribed to a mobile package, and China Mobile would send him text messages to remind people who called his number. After checking to make sure there was no one he planned to call. However, a woman suddenly came over from the opposite side and stood in front of him. She was beautiful, pretty, and had big breasts. Even her winter clothes couldn't cover her two bunnies that stood out from the crowd. What's more, he was wearing a windbreaker and a base shirt. When the room was heated, he unbuttoned his windbreaker, revealing the eye-catching peak. Sorry to have kept you waiting, Zhu. The woman extended her hand and introduced. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 630 Zhu. Zhao Jixi stood up, and his height was a little higher than hers in high-heeled boots. Zhao Jixi. After saying that, he looked at the woman again. Can you give me an explanation? After all, no matter what you do, the first impression is very important. I don't want to cause misunderstandings about you because of my subjective assumptions. What do you think? The woman said, the matter, I can only get out after the police come, and I have to go to the police station tomorrow to make a supplementary record. Old lady? Blackmailing people. This matter is really infuriating. It's simply a model of relying on age to bully others. She is threatening the elderly to respect herself. It's really too much. Well, Zhao Jixi had to admit that he was catering to this woman. For a prettier girl, Zhao Jixi felt that it was acceptable to spend some effort on talking. Anyway, talking doesn't cost money. Have you reserved the right to sue? I think she should be sued, and she or her family should pay the price for what she did. Zhao Jixi's angry look brought the two closer. I think she may have difficulties. After all, she is so old. She saw Zhao Jixi wanted to say something. In our country, as a country of etiquette, respecting the elderly is a virtue. I can't destroy the moral standards in my mind because of an exception. A dog bites a person, but a person can't bite a dog. Zhu was stunned for a moment, then she giggled, nodded, and looked at Zhao Jixi and said, although the expression is not very, but it depicts the meaning very deeply. Zhao Jixi smiled knowingly. As he spoke, he forgot that he hadn't ordered anything yet. What would you like to drink? My mouth is dry after talking for a while. Hurry up and make some. A cup of coffee. Waiter, a cup of coffee. Zhao Jixi called gentlemanly. The misunderstanding has been resolved. This seems to be a good start. To be honest, I'm rather disgusted with blind dates. Zhao Jixi said to him. Me too. Zhu also said with a smile. The man in front of you is definitely the most unreliable man I have ever met. I almost got cheated by him. Is there such a thing? Don't everyone know each other well during a blind date? Seeing that Zhao Jixi was really attracted, Zhu smiled secretly in her heart. It turns out that I haven't eaten a few more years than you for nothing. To be honest, I have some feelings for this man. I also think that I can try to get to know him, but we need to have something to talk about first. There are always some surprises. Zhu took a sip of coffee helplessly, and the bitter taste seemed to rise from her heart. It was a person introduced by my aunt, but I didn't expect that he would be a liar. It sounds like a sad story. Everything will pass. Zhao Jixi comforted. The two did not talk about anything substantial. Most of the time, they just found topics to talk about, or talked about their own things in a vague way. But most of the time it was her who said it, and Zhao Jixi said very little about his own affairs. Zhao Jixi had a good impression of Zhu when they first met. If they did not consider getting married, Zhao Jixi felt that they could still date, but if the purpose was to get married, then forget it. It was too horrible. Just think about the money gone. It was really unacceptable. Zhao Jixi? A voice suddenly came from his right. He turned around and looked. It was a woman. He really knew it. Li Shuang's girlfriend, Miss Cheng. The woman quickened her pace and walked over. It's really you? He stood up, looked at her and said, it's indeed me. What a coincidence. Zhao Jixi felt quite embarrassed for some reason. After Cheng Nan looked at him, she looked at Zhu. Who is this? My friend Zhu. Zhao Jixi introduced her, and then said to her with a puzzled look on her face, yeah, this is my brother's girlfriend Cheng Nan. He emphasized the word brother. Oh. She responded, and her Facebook seemed to look better. Hello, nice to meet you. Me too, but Miss Zhu, I think I'm familiar with this name, but I just can't remember it. It may be the same name. Cheng Nan frowned, and thought for a while, but he just couldn't remember it. My cousin is Zhu Yang. Zhu knew this woman, but she might not know her. When she said that, Cheng Nan remembered Zhu from the Zhu family. It turned out to be you. We met when we were young, but it was a bit far away from now, and your name is always in my memory. Zhao Jixi listened to the two people talking about the complicated relationship between them, and saw that everyone was still standing and said, okay, since you are here, let's sit down and chat first. This is not good. Cheng Nan glanced at him. Won't I disturb you? It's okay. We are destined to meet here. This is not a bother. Oh, by the way, why are you here? Zhao Jixi said with a smile, and asked by the way. I made an appointment with Shuang to have a drink. Cheng Nan also sat next to Zhu. Isn't he in Korea? Why is he back again? It's the 8th day of the first lunar month, and it's time for him to come to China. Cheng Nan said. Yes, it's time to come. Zhao Jixi said with a smile. A boyfriend who can't accompany his girlfriend is definitely not a good boyfriend. When will he come? It will take a while. Things haven't been finished yet. I came here to sit down when I have nothing to do. Cheng Nan said. By the way, how is a real estate project you invested in Jeju Island recently? Zhao Jixi thought for a while and said, it's okay. At least if we follow the current plan, we don't have to worry about losses. The main thing is to do a good job in sales, and domestic buyers are our main force. Cheng Nan, you have to help your husband. If this business is successful, he can at least earn over 100 million US dollars, which is several hundred million in celestial currency. Cheng Nan was shocked. So much. Theoretically, the income is this much, but it is impossible to get all this money in one go. We have to be prepared to fight for a year or two. We can't sell some houses yet, so we have to hold on to them for a while. I hope the house prices of the entire building will rise, and we can sell some of them, and bring ourselves a lot of income, Zhao Jixi said slowly. You businessmen. Don't look at me like that. This is a plan made by the company, and we are only responsible for investment. You asked me to spend time managing the company, so forget about such boring things. Chapter 631 Real Estate and Dating. While talking to Cheng Nan, Zhao Jixi also found that he had neglected Zhu a little. Thinking that what they were talking about now seemed to be related to the industry she was engaged in, he changed the topic and threw it to Zhu. I'm a newcomer in the real estate industry. You need a senior person to answer your question. Zhao Jixi said, while looking at Zhu. Ye is the vice president of a real estate company. She is much better than a layman like me. At that time, I looked at the rate of return, the investigation results and data of my think tank. There was no problem with these, so I invested money. You are much more relaxed in this aspect. It is not like our real estate business in China. It is not so easy for companies with some background to do business. We have to do what you do, but we have to do more than what you don't need to do. Especially for companies with more complicated backgrounds, we have to be careful not to drag down the people below. We also have to take care of the government, and we also need to communicate well with the bank. We also have to be careful of commercial attacks from opponents. For example, when we first acquired the land, it was already given to us. Don't you also have a background, and you still have to suffer this loss? Zhou asked curiously. This is not a matter of background, it's about not being able to eat alone. You have a good father, right? Others have it too. Why can you use your connections to make money, but they can't get a share? Zhou said calmly. First of all, the land in our country is more expensive, and you have to pay interest on bank loans. If you are not careful, you may not be able to pay back the loan. This industry sounds simple, but it is not that easy to do, Zhou said with emotion. But there is a fact that is recognized, that is, it is very profitable. Otherwise, who would suffer this hardship? Money is in the pocket, and it is also right to work hard. This is indeed true. Zhou and the other two also nodded in agreement. Compared with our efforts and gains, it is indeed a very happy thing for those at the bottom. Several people found a topic and started chatting, and time passed by unknowingly with happiness. Li Shuang appeared in the wine immediately, looked around, and was even more surprised after locking on the target. Hey, Jess. Good boy, why are you here too? Li Shuang came over and hit him in surprise and asked. Zhou shrugged his shoulders. Should I ask you this? We have been here for a long time. I didn't expect to meet Chengnan, so we sat together. Then he looked at him strangely. Aren't you in Korea? Why are you back? Where is your godmother? Today is the 10th day of the first lunar month, brother. There are many things to deal with. Do you think everyone wants you to be so happy? Spend a little money and you can get ordinary people to help you do things. You can chat while doing it and make money in your pocket. If you want, you can. Zhou also replied unceremoniously. The TV station is not a major shareholder. There is no need to work hard. We made it in Jeju Island. We are the boss everywhere. Well, let's not talk about this. The concepts are different. Li Shuang ended the topic. Okay. Zhou also nodded in agreement. Then he turned around and introduced Zhou. This is my good brother, and also my childhood friend Li Shuang. Then he said to him, Zhou. After thinking for a while, he said, my friend. Li Shuang gave a look of understanding. Hello. Hello. Zhou. The two of them were acquainted, and they sat down after being invited. The atmosphere at the table was not as harmonious as before. After all, there was someone she was not very familiar with. Zhou mostly talked to Chengnan, or said a few words to Zhou, and Li Shuang just happened to join in the conversation. While the two of them were talking, Li Shuang secretly asked him, did your aunt introduce you? No, my dad, an old comrade in arms, old leader. Zhou said softly. Li Shuang nodded. Your dad has taken good care of you. What do you mean? Zhou was a little confused by this. I'll just give this woman the word beautiful. Li Shuang said as he moved closer. He glanced at the two women guiltily before saying to Zhou, I saw her when she stood up just now. Her figure is quite attractive. Based on my many years of experience in communication and verification in Korea, I think her breasts don't look padded. However, this is just like gambling on stones. No one will know unless you verify it yourself. Zhou also nodded like a pedant. It's nonsense to say that. If my dad doesn't treat me well, then who will he treat well? What you said is true. She looks good. But her breasts don't look padded. I can see this better than you. But, this kind of woman should not be touched. If I dare to do the kind of thing where they wipe their mouths and leave after eating, my legs will probably be in great danger in the future. Li Shuang nodded in agreement. Businessmen say that it's easier to kill someone you know, but it's different. If you sleep with a girl, it's better to do it with someone you don't know well. At least people won't come to you. Then why did you introduce me to her? Isn't that a waste of my time? Really? We're already here. Shouldn't we introduce each other? Besides, we can be friends in the future. We can't just think about taking one path. Zhou said softly, glancing at the two women from time to time. I'm not going to go down one path all the time. We have two paths, either by water or by land. Li Shuang laughed a little bit, although the sound was not loud, but the smell of this bitch could still be scented a few meters away. Let's talk about something serious. He kicked Li Shuang with his foot. Okay, you talk. The two women saw that the two people opposite them were also whispering like women, and they were a little dissatisfied. What are you talking about? So secretive. Chengnan looked at Li Shuang, and Zhu Ye also looked at Zhao Jixi. It's bad. Zhao Jixi cried in his heart. It seems that this woman has a good impression of him. When Li Shuang lied to this woman, he seemed to have a natural restrained attribute. We didn't say anything. We just chatted casually. Chengnan's big eyes slammed twice, nodded and looked at Li Shuang and said, I know. If you don't chat casually, how can you not chat casually? Zhao Jixi and Li Shuang were confused at once. What do you mean by not chatting casually? Zhao Jixi's brain was sweating. The four people sat in the bar for a while, and then Li Shuang and the other two wanted to go to the movies. Zhao Jixi and Zhu Ye also called them over. Li Shuang didn't want to call them over at first, because it was a pitfall for his brothers. But since Chengnan called him, he couldn't say anything. The content of the movie was pretty good, so he sat with Zhu Ye, but he couldn't chat with Li Shuang. With Zhu Ye and Chengnan in between, he could only spend a boring movie time. Chapter 632 Inquiry. Zhu Ye was quite happy. There were a lot of things in the company recently. It was a good way to relax by going out to watch a movie. When she left the theater, she stretched her body, showing her huge chest to Zhao Jixi's eyes. Chengnan patted her on the back, and Zhu Ye realized that she was blocking the road. She gently kicked Zhao Jixi and let him go first, and the four of them left the movie hall. However, both of them knew about the little accident just now, but they didn't say it. After having a meal together in the evening, the three of them sent Zhu Ye home. Zhao Jixi didn't disturb Li Shuang and his world of two, and went back to the hotel alone. After returning home, Zhu Ye immediately pulled her sister and mother who were waiting at home. Today is a record-breaking day. It took so long for us to meet for the first time. We went out in the afternoon and it's past 10 o'clock now. It's not easy. Her sister Zhu Ye teased her sister. Third brother, what's going on today? You've never come back so late for a blind date before. Tell us quickly. Her second sister asked curiously. Yes, yeah, tell mom what happened today. What's going on? Zhu's mother also asked. Zhu Ye's head was hurting by the buzzing noises. Fortunately, her two brothers-in-law also pulled away the curious women. You are talking one after another, and you don't even give Ye a chance to speak. How can I answer? After saying this, the women let go of Zhu Ye, but his mother said again, then tell us in detail, what's going on today? Mom, I'm only 25 years old. Why are you so anxious? As if I'm 30 years old. It's not like no one wants me. Why are you so nervous? Zhu Ye said helplessly as she sat on the sofa. 25. It's not too late at 25. You need to spend a year in a relationship to get to know each other better. It will take half a year to get married. If you succeed, it will probably take about a year and a half. But a year and a half is based on success. If a bastard like Liu Wei appears in the middle, you will be delayed to death. Zhu Ye yelled angrily. Mom, why do you still mention him? I get angry when I hear this name. Fortunately, I'm alert. Otherwise I almost got cheated of money and sex. Although I'm angry, please don't mention it all the time. It's disgusting. Mother Zhu knew that something was wrong as soon as she said it. Sometimes she couldn't control her mouth. Okay, it's my fault for bringing up that bastard again. Don't be angry, he won't be locked up. We haven't lost anything, we are angry, and he has nothing to do with us in the future. Let's not talk about him. Why should I mention him for no reason? Seeing her mother say this, Zhu Ye's unhappy mood improved a little. Tell me what happened? Your aunt said that, if you can't do it, you should tell her. There are many girls waiting for you at her family's place. Mother Zhu asked anxiously, looking at her daughter. Mom, this is our first meeting. You are talking too far ahead. Zhu Ye ate a melon seed and said, but what's the matter with my aunt? Didn't she say she would introduce Zhao Jixi to me? Why did she sell him to someone else? I just met her for the first time, and it's only been half a day. Is she Mary Lunt? How can I only be worth half a day? How can you do things like this? Zhu looked indignant, and looked at Mother Zhu and her sisters. Two words suddenly appeared in her mind. There is a chance. With the understanding in their hearts, they were not anxious. Yes, this is really not a decent thing to do. She always favors her family. Will I have to tell her later? You don't have to worry. Just make an appointment with Zhou Jixi first. I promise not to let her intercept you. Mom? What are you talking about? Zhu blushed. We just met for the first time. We were alone for only a few minutes. How can we talk about the future? A few minutes? You came back in the middle of the night. We were alone for only a few minutes? The eldest sister Zhu asked curiously. I happened to meet his childhood friend's girlfriend at the bar, and then his childhood friend Li Shuang also came. So we all drank coffee, and watched a movie together, and finally had dinner together. We chatted for a few hours in between. In the end, 3 people sent me back. I came here like this. Zhu said briefly. Meet a friend? What a coincidence. It was really an accident. Zhu interrupted and explained for Zhou Jixi. Tell me the details, Mom, and sisters will help you analyze it. Zhu could only sigh helplessly. After I went out today, I met an old lady, and she was blackmailed. She began to briefly describe it, but she didn't say what was going on in her mind. Finally we came back, and you kept asking me, and I told you. Zhu was chatting with her family, and Zhou Jixi was no exception. Mom looked back, and saw that the time was almost up, so she called him. Asked how far the matter had progressed. He could only explain to his mother, and talk about the two of them. In summary, he didn't have any bad feelings towards this woman, but he didn't like her too much either. After all, with that level of identity, if he really got her, either he would be pure and hanged to death alone, or he would be found cheating, and the two would break up and divorce. The mother nodded after listening. This matter cannot be forced. After all, the children will live together for the rest of their lives. Only he himself knows what he likes. She can only say to Zhou Jixi, then you decide. At most, she would add a sentence saying that, if he doesn't like it, he shouldn't bother him. After dealing with his mother, Zhou Jixi lay down for a while out of boredom, thinking about whether to go out and have some fun. He does have friends in the capital. He met a lot of brothers when he got together with Li Gua. He would call and someone would come out, but should he go? Or should he go? He didn't need to make a choice in his heart. He understood what he meant. While he was thinking, his phone suddenly rang. He picked it up and took a look, and a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Sending me such a text message in the middle of the night really made me unable to sleep all night. But what does old Zhu mean? Zhou Jixi looked at the text message. What are you doing? He wondered whether he should reply I'm thinking about having sex with a woman. He shook his head to get rid of this ridiculous idea. I'm in the hotel. I'm alone. Why did you send a message specifically about a person? Zhu Jinglei replied quickly. It's easy to associate the hotel with something, so I want to prove my innocence. Boring. It's also your talkativeness. Zhou Jixi. How about going out for a drink? Zhu Jinglei pressed the send button. Sometimes a woman's loneliness is not something a man can understand. Address. Chapter 633. Confused movement. P.S. Zhou, it's been a long time since I asked for votes. Let Zhou shout. Zhou Jixi woke up the next day and pinched his aching head. After getting up, his strong body was exposed to the light. The curtains of the hotel room were not closed last night, and a large piece of sunlight ran in. Suddenly he felt something on his feet, and when he looked back, damn, there was another woman. In an instant, the memory of last night was like an hourglass, leaking back into his mind. Lying on the right side of the bed was the literary young woman Lao Zhu, Miss Zhu Jinglei. The slightly messy hair covered some of her face, but he still recognized that face clearly. I went out to drink with Lao Zhu at night, and the two chatted for more than 2 hours. I drank a lot of wine. A woman who wanted to relax, and a lonely man. The two drove Zhu Jinglei's car to the hotel drunkenly. Fortunately, Zhou Jixi was not too drunk. He knew to protect her, and packaged her well, and the car was also borrowed from Zhu Jinglei's friend. There is no need to worry about the entertainment reporters, and there will be no sneak shots. The two people who returned to the hotel rolled on the sheets under the influence of alcohol. Zhou Jinglei has a good figure. Although her white rabbit is not very magnificent, it is delicate and exquisite to touch. Health means that the body does not have too much fat. Touching her skin and enjoying her slightly wild stripping method, Zhao Jixi pushed her to the bed and let the woman sit on it. It was like a sword returning to the sheath. The squeak sound became the best sound effect on the spot. In the subsequent Papa soundtrack, the two people also played a song of human desire. Zhou Jinglei lay on the bed, with her hips slightly borrowed from her knees and slightly raised. This is Zhao Jixi's favorite action. It is not like the back entry style, which requires bending the knees and kneeling with the hips raised high. She just lay down and raised it a little so that Zhao Jixi can have a good position to go straight to Huanglang. Zhao Jixi can also see the complete scenery of his buttocks while exercising. After exercising, he can also be pressed against his lower back by her heels and knocked sporadically, which can also add more boudoir fun. Thinking about the madness of last night, Zhao Jixi felt a little embarrassed. There was no small umbrella on the ground, and Zhao Jixi remembered that he went shirtless yesterday. I don't know if I should remind him about this situation later. If he is really hit by a bullet, it will be so unlucky. Zhou Jinglei was also awakened by the sunshine. She reached out to tidy up her hair, and she saw Zhao Jixi staring at her. What are you looking at? You are lucky. Did I drink too much yesterday? Zhao Jixi thought about the words and said, a little bit. He sat up and reached out to bring the quilt to cover the scenery in front of her chest, but this movement made her brows tighten slightly. I didn't expect you to be so cruel. I'm still a little swollen. Unexpectedly, it was you who shouted yesterday to hurry up, harder, and don't stop. Shut up. Zhou Jinglei blushed to her neck when she heard it. Shameless, I never yelled like that. Zhao Jixi looked at the woman with a changed face and knew that this was not the time to tell the truth. Okay, you didn't say it, I said it all. At the end, he did not forget to tease. Zhou Jinglei immediately remembered the scene of herself sitting on him last night and used these words on him as if she had taken the initiative. Following his voice, she catered to him according to his meaning. The blush on her face not only did not retreat, but spread further down. Zhao Jixi looked at her, and his heart was moved. You are so beautiful. After saying that, he hugged Zhou Jinglei and kissed her lips. The two started another exercise on this sunny morning. After a ***, the two took a shower. Zhou Jinglei just remembered that she didn't bring a small umbrella last night and asked Zhao Jixi to buy some medicine. He was also disrespectful. The hotel had this medicine. After Zhao Jixi bought a box, he watched Zhou Jinglei eat the medicine while eating breakfast, and he felt much more relieved. If a man wants to keep a woman, he should make her pregnant. If a woman wants to keep a man, she must not get pregnant with other women. Sometimes this fully illustrates the different emotional views of men and women. The things with Leo Zhou came and went quickly. Zhao Jixi went to the company with her in the afternoon and watched the sample of the movie. It was no different from the previous life. He couldn't even remember the slight differences. The male protagonist looked quite ordinary in his opinion. He was just tall and had long legs. Brother also had it, and he was definitely better than him. As for whether the two of them had anything, Zhao Jixi would not ask without knowing the tact. He was still depressed until now. How did the two of them get together yesterday? Leo Zhou's reputation is good, and he is not the first or second time to be independent. But watching the movie, thinking about the fact that he had sex with her just this morning, this feeling is really different. There is a strange pleasure. No wonder some people like celebrity girls. Being beautiful is one reason, and pursuing that kind of strange feeling is another reason. It was just a preview for the two of them. There was no ambiguous action in the middle. Zhao Jixi watched it very seriously, which was a respect for her. After the whole film was over, he stood up with a smile on his face, clapped his hands and said, "It was filmed very well. I can't say anything about the professional things, but at least it was comfortable and happy to watch." As for the words complaining about her intimacy with the male lead, they could only be buried in their hearts. Or the kind of deep ones, unless he wants to develop her well. Otherwise, don't talk about those useless things. Thank you. Zhu Jinglei looked at him and said with a smile, "Your evaluation is much better than those who use professional terms. I'm very happy to receive your praise and compliments. I think I should thank you. I guess this can make me a lot of money." Zhao Jixi also said with a smile, holding Zhu Jinglei's hand, "Let's go. I'll treat you to dinner. We have to celebrate. Thank you for your good words." Zhu Jinglei didn't object and followed Zhao Jixi out. But when she heard the footsteps, she took her hand away, and Zhao Jixi didn't mind. The two people were not in love and walked together. He didn't want to be responsible, so he shouldn't ask her to do anything. "Director Zhou." The visitor greeted him quickly, then glanced at Zhao Jixi with a strange look and quickly moved away. "Have you watched?" Zhu Jinglei nodded and said, "Yes. Go and get busy. Clean up the inside." Then she said to Zhao Jixi, "Let's go." "Yes." He also responded. The person who stayed behind after the two left secretly guessed their relationship. However, it was unexpected for them to come and go so openly, and this matter was not something she could discuss casually. The most important thing in a film and television company is to do more and talk less. If you talk about the star's affairs casually, it might get to the ears of someone with ulterior motives, and you will be in trouble if something goes wrong. Chapter 634. It was a separation without words, but it was a separation. Chapter 634. Chapter 634. Zhao Jixi did not go to meet other people. He was just an investor, not a producer or supervisor. Besides, he did not want to make things so complicated. He did not go to meet Zhang Yibei. It seemed that they had a good relationship with Huai brothers, but they had nothing to do with him. He was just playing around with domestic film and television production. In the future, he would invest in a few memorable movies, which should make a lot of money. It was just troublesome to manage. If it were not for the unspoken rules in his previous life that attracted him, he might not have made this money. He had dinner with Zhu Jinglei in the afternoon. The two of them were always a little speechless. Zhao Jixi did not ask any personal questions. Yesterday, he thought that maybe Zhu Jinglei had some problems with her relationship, and he was just right. As a result, the thing was done, so everyone's atmosphere was a little strange. "I'm going to Zhonghai tomorrow." Zhu Jinglei spoke first. "Yeah." Zhao Jixi nodded. "Do you need me to take you?" Zhu Jinglei shook her head and then pointed at the people wandering outside. Zhao Jixi nodded in understanding and pulled his cap down even lower. It would be troublesome if the bodyguard was not there. Otherwise, he would be fine if he stood outside and stood in front of her. "Okay, I wish you all the best," Zhao Jixi said to her while picking up the red wine. "Thank you." The two of them tacitly did not mention what happened last night, let alone what happened this morning. Just treat it as a beautiful memory, and Zhu Jinglei obviously needed some time to smooth out the awkward atmosphere between the two. After separating from her, Zhao Jixi watched her leave first. There were still some post-productions that were not completed, and it didn't matter whether it was or not. It was the same for both of them. They were in the right place, but did the wrong thing. Zhao Jixi made a group call. "Brothers, let's go out for a drink tonight. Today, I've made an appointment with a girl from Beijing Film Academy for dinner. Jess finally came to the capital. We have to greet him well. You really value women over friends." Someone scolded immediately. "Yes, brother Jeezy, my brother must come out. Let's not stop until we are drunk today. Haha. Zhou is a good brother." Zhao Jeezy laughed and said, "By the way, brother Jeezy, I have a friend here who also wants to go. What do you think?" "Who is it?" "Li Shiner. His father is a general." Li Gua asked in surprise on the phone. "Puchy, damn, he is just a singing general. How come you are playing with him?" "Li Shiner." Zhao Jixi immediately thought of this Pitfather god kid in his mind. His affairs in the previous life were a sensation. He was a little bit interested in getting to know this idiot. It would be a pity if he didn't meet this idiot. "Zuzi, you should break up with him quickly. I know this idiot. He has a bad character. Although I'm a bastard sometimes, we play together willingly. It's not worth it to get involved with him," said another person on the phone. Everyone talked one after another, and in the end, no one wanted to take the child with them. Zhao Jixi thought about it and gave up. He was just a little kid, so it was no fun to play with him. Even if he was looking for a younger brother, if this idiot really came to visit, he might have to clean up his mess. By the way, I'm single today. I'm going to meet the guy from Beijing Film Academy. Can you bring more girls out for socializing tonight? Jess, how old are we and we are still socializing? Li Gua said speechlessly. But I'm still in college. Why can't I socialize? Zhao Jixi retorted. By the way, Stanford. Li Gua thought about it, and it was true. Zhao Jixi had been studying at Stanford for a few months. By the way, Jess, isn't school starting in the United States recently? Why are you still in China? I've asked for leave. I've been preparing my graduation thesis recently. If I pass it, I'll be a graduate student soon. I'm not kidding. I'm very smart in studying. Zhao Jixi started bragging again, but no one disagreed. That's right, you pervert. You are really not an ordinary person. Li Gua agreed. Hushi, who had just passed the Beijing Film Academy, also agreed. Okay, I'll go and talk to them. None of these women are easy to deal with. They are all very cunning. Brother is planning to open a film and television investment company recently. Just tell them like this. I don't believe that I won't catch one or two fish. Zhao Jixi said confidently. Jesse, are you really going to open it? Li Gua asked. Well, I have opened dozens of cinemas. Now I invest in some movies and make a little money. It's much better than just running a cinema. Zhao Jixi explained. Li Gua suddenly fell silent. He also had some ideas in his mind. He is still on the phone now. Let's talk about it next time we make an appointment. That's even better. Hushi, our big boss has revealed a little bit of his bottom line now. You have to hurry in and lure a few out. Leave it to me. Hushi said with a smile. In the evening, Zhao Jixi borrowed a car from Li Gua to go to the entertainment club. After his driver came, he drove there. Having a good mount will at least increase the attractiveness to women by several percentage points. Li Gua, Hushi, Zuzi and 6 or 7 other people, 3 or 4 of them have already arrived, and now they are all in the private room. Zhao Jixi drove here with the help of the navigation, and it was indeed a luxurious and atmospheric entertainment club. It was magnificent and brightly lit by the spotlights. He entered the parking lot and parked the car for a while. The etiquette lady took Zhao Jixi to the private room number they reserved. When Zhao Jixi pushed the door and entered, there were already 3 men and a dozen girls singing inside. Everyone in the private room looked at him at once, and he smiled and waved or nodded to these people. Li Gua saw him immediately. Jess, you wanted to come out to drink, but you came the last. Do you think you should be fined? Fine, you decide how much. I'll take it today. Zhao Jixi didn't refuse. Tell me, yellow or white, I like it. He found a seat close to the girl and sat down. White wine. That's what you said. Guazi asked someone to bring white wine. Come first. Hushi was interrupted by Li Gua before he finished speaking. It's just the beginning. Why white wine? A bottle of whiskey. Jess, you decide. We are brothers with so many beauties here. How much do you want to drink? That's easy. Zhao Jixi didn't give them time to talk. The waiter quickly came in with a bottle of whiskey on a tray. Zhao Jixi picked it up and didn't say anything. He picked up an ice cube and bit it a few times. He poured the whiskey into a bottle, then picked it up and drank it down. Zhao Jixi did not go to meet other people. He was just an investor, not a producer or supervisor. Besides, he did not want to make things so complicated. He did not go to meet Zhang Yibei. It seemed that they had a good relationship with Huayi brothers, but they had nothing to do with him. He was just playing around with domestic film and television production. In the future, he would invest in a few memorable movies, which should be quite profitable. It was just troublesome to manage. If it were not for the unspoken rules in his previous life that attracted him, he might not have made the money. He had dinner with Zhu Jinglei in the afternoon, and the two of them were always a little awkward. Zhao Jixi did not ask any personal questions. Yesterday, he thought that maybe Zhu Jinglei had some problems with her relationship, and he was just right. As a result, the thing was done, so everyone's atmosphere was a little strange. I'm going to Zhonghai tomorrow. Zhu Jinglei spoke first. Yeah. Zhao Jixi nodded. Do you need me to take you? Zhu Jinglei shook her head and then pointed to the people wandering outside. Zhao Jixi nodded in understanding and pulled his cap down even lower. It would be troublesome if the bodyguard was not there. Otherwise, he would be fine if he stood outside and stood in front of her. Okay, I wish you all the best, Zhao Jixi said to her while picking up the red wine. Thank you. The two of them tacitly did not mention what happened last night, let alone what happened this morning. Just treat it as a beautiful memory, and Zhu Jinglui obviously needed some time to smooth out the awkward atmosphere between the two. After separating from her, Zhao Jixi watched her leave first. There were still some post-productions that were not completed, and it didn't matter whether it was or not. It was the same for both of them. They were in the right place, but did the wrong thing. Zhao Jixi made a group call. Brothers, let's go out for a drink tonight. Today, I've made an appointment with a girl from Beijing Film Academy for dinner. Jess finally came to the capital. We have to greet him well. You really value women over friends. Someone scolded immediately. Yes, brother Jeezy, my brother must come out. Let's not stop until we are drunk today. Haha. Zhou is a good brother. Zhao Jeezy laughed and said, by the way, brother Jeezy, I have a friend here who also wants to go. What do you think? Who is it? Li Shiner. His father is a general. Li Gua asked in surprise on the phone. Puchy, damn, he is just a singing general. How come you are playing with him? Li Shiner. Zhao Jeezy immediately thought of this pit father god kid in his mind. His affairs in the previous life were a sensation. He was a little bit interested in getting to know this idiot. It would be a pity if he didn't meet this idiot. Zuzi, you should break up with him quickly. I know this idiot. He has a bad character. Although I'm a bastard sometimes, we play together willingly. It's not worth it to get involved with him, said another person on the phone. Everyone talked one after another, and in the end, no one wanted to take the child with them. Zhao Jixi thought about it and gave up. He was just a little kid, so it was no fun to play with him. Even if he was looking for a younger brother, if this idiot really came to visit, he might have to clean up his mess. By the way, I'm single today. I'm going to meet the guy from Beijing Film Academy. Can you bring more girls out for socializing tonight? Jess, how old are we and we are still socializing? Li Gua said speechlessly. But I'm still in college. Why can't I socialize? Zhao Jixi retorted. By the way, Stanford. Li Gua thought about it, and it was true. Zhao Jixi had been studying at Stanford for a few months. By the way, Jess, isn't school starting in the United States recently? Why are you still in China? I've asked for leave. I've been preparing my graduation thesis recently. If I pass it, I'll be a graduate student soon. I'm not kidding. I'm very smart in studying. Zhao Jixi started bragging again, but no one disagreed. That's right, you pervert. You are really not an ordinary person. Li Gua agreed. Hushi, who had just passed the Beijing Film Academy, also agreed. Okay, I'll go and talk to them. None of these women are easy to deal with. They are all very cunning. Brother is planning to open a film and television investment company recently. Just tell them like this. I don't believe that I won't catch one or two fish. Zhao Jixi said confidently. Jesse, are you really going to open it? Li Gua asked. Well, I have opened dozens of cinemas. Now I invest in some movies and make a little money. It's much better than just running a cinema. Zhao Jixi explained. Li Gua suddenly fell silent. He also had some ideas in his mind. He is still on the phone now. Let's talk about it next time we make an appointment. That's even better. Hushi, our big boss has revealed a little bit of his bottom line now. You have to hurry in and lure a few out. Leave it to me, Hushi said with a smile. In the evening, Zhao Jixi borrowed a car from Li Gua to go to the entertainment club. After his driver came, he drove there. Having a good mount will at least increase the attractiveness to women by several percentage points. Li Gua, Hushi, Zuzi and 6 or 7 other people, 3 or 4 of them have already arrived, and now they are all in the private room. Zhao Jixi drove here with the help of the navigation, and it was indeed a luxurious and atmospheric entertainment club. It was magnificent and brightly lit by the spotlights. He entered the parking lot and parked the car for a while. The etiquette lady took Zhao Jixi to the private room number they reserved. When Zhao Jixi pushed the door and entered, there were already 3 men and a dozen girls singing inside. Everyone in the private room looked at him at once, and he smiled and waved or nodded to these people. Li Gua saw him immediately. Jess, you wanted to come out to drink, but you came the last. Do you think you should be fined? Fine, you decide how much, I'll take it today. Zhao Jixi didn't refuse. Tell me, yellow or white, I like it. He found a seat close to the girl and sat down. White wine. That's what you said. Guazi asked someone to bring white wine. Come first. Who? She was interrupted by Li Gua before he finished speaking. It's just the beginning. Why white wine? A bottle of whiskey. Jess, you decide. We are brothers with so many beauties here. How much do you want to drink? That's easy. Zhao Jixi didn't give them time to talk. The waiter quickly came in with a bottle of whiskey on a tray. Zhao Jixi picked it up and didn't say anything. He picked up an ice cube and bit it a few times. He poured the whiskey into a bottle, then picked it up and drank it down. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.